then Rhea kind of comes back with, you know what? All those things that you just said, they may be true, but I'm built for this. I'm built for what we do right here. And when it comes to you and me in the ring, I'm going to put my foot in your ass and walk it dry because that's what I do. Because when it comes to that wrestling, I'm that bitch.
You should have written this promo because that was better than what we got.
Welcome to the Lariat Lounge. This is almost smart takes, hard hits, and real talk. I'm your host, Everson Godfrey, co-host Andrew Skeens. Skeener, it looks as though there are some monkey wrenches in at least my plans, of at least what I was planning for WrestleMania. WWE seems to be trying to course correct. They seem to be trying to make some things stick. And in doing so, we are going back to the tried and true WWE champion, which is none other than Mr. Cody Rhodes. So
hey, you heard it on Friday. Can't be the golden goose without the gold.
Yeah,
so,
didn't he say like he can't be the golden boy without the gold?
I think he said it, or then I remember commentary repeating it. But yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I have thoughts.
Obviously. I knew you would.
I have thoughts,
and I've got thoughts on a couple things as well. So
that are not Cody.
That are not Cody. No.
Okay. Listen, I am looking forward to getting into it. Quick note, listeners, viewers of the Lariat Lounge. First of all, thank you all for coming back, tuning in. Thank you all for tuning in to episode 50, which was our first video podcast episode. It's getting some views on YouTube. It is helping out with all the things that we're doing around here. So much appreciated for checking that out, leaving likes. If you subscribed, I appreciate the new subscribers. It really does mean a lot. But Skeener, I have got some news.
And
it's not the news that you're thinking.
Okay.
It's not the news that you're thinking.
Okay.
But I'm going to bury the lead a little bit. And let's start with the news that you are thinking.
Okay.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the Lariat Lounge officially has merch. That's right. We are officially on ProWrestlingTees.com/the Lariat Lounge. You can go and you can buy 4 brand new Lariat Lounge t-shirts. They are there for your purchasing pleasure. So I know at least one person that is probably going to buy all 4 of them because he's a collector, and I swear on everything, the very first week the podcast was out, he asked, so where's the merch?
Yes, sir. I assume this is our friend George Cruz.
This is our friend George Cruz.
There we
George
go.
Cruz,
we love you, buddy.
It's been almost a year, but the merch is here, and there's more to come. So I submitted 6 designs. I designed them all myself, and I submitted 6. I have gotten the approval back for 4 of them, so I'm still waiting on 2. The ones that we are waiting on, one of those is my favorite. Favorite. I think
these are a surprise to me as well.
Well, did I send you any of the design, Skeener?
You did not, which is fine. I'll be surprised when they go up.
I'm going to send you one of them because it's my favorite. And I am so excited for that one to get approved and get on there because that one is awesome. I showed it to a coworker the other day, and he doesn't listen to the podcast, but he's interested in the things that I'm doing. So I showed it to him, and he said, hey, that one right there, that shirt is sick. But my wife's favorite t-shirt, the one that's back there on the screen, the Toon Boys.
Yeah.
That's her favorite t-shirt. And that t-shirt is available on ProWrestlingTees.com/the Lariat Lounge. So make sure you go and get your merch. If you want your Lariat Lounge merch, by the time WrestleMania gets here, I don't know if you're going to get it, but you might order it now, and that's going to be your best bet. So I would go ahead and put those orders in now so you can be wearing your Lariat Lounge merch at WrestleMania if you're going. And if you're not and you want to be in camaraderie with us, ProWrestlingTees.com/the Lariat Lounge. I'm sure Skeener has thrown that out on the socials to let everybody know that the merch has arrived.
When you're watching this, you will see a post up there and directing you to Pro Wrestling Tees to get all the merch you so desire.
Yes, it's all there for you. Buy as much of it as you want. Seriously, it funds the podcast. All proceeds go directly back into this podcast. It is not free to run this podcast, but I do it because I love it and I love what we're doing. And if I could get the podcast to pay for itself, then we are, we're playing with house money. So, it's all great. Please buy what you want. We appreciate it. ProWrestlingTees.com/the Lariat Lounge. ProWrestlingTees.com/the Lariat Lounge. Here's the other bit of news, though, Skeeter, the news you don't know.
Yes.
So I'm sitting at work and I get an email to the Lariat Lounge at Gmail. And it's from a gentleman named Carlos. Now, I don't know Carlos. Carlos is not a listener of the podcast. Carlos is a representative for, I forget the name of the podcasting website, but they pretty much track podcast statistics, right? He reaches out to me and he says, and I'm paraphrasing all of this, but he says, your podcast is doing really well and trending really well. Currently, the Lariat Lounge is ranked 127 overall
moving up
in pro wrestling podcasts in the United States, according to Apple Podcast. We have broken the top 150 podcast in the country.
There we go. That's awesome.
That is awesome. That is awesome. The fact that they reached out to me and told me that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I said, look, we must be doing something right. And so therefore we're just going to keep, pushing forward, trending upward, and doing what we do, which is get on here and talk about professional wrestling in a sensible and thoughtful way from fans who genuinely enjoy what it is that they're consuming. So thank you all. This is all you guys. If you did not listen to the podcast, if you did not tune in every week, if you did not go to all of your podcast platforms and check us out, we would not be trending the way that we're trending, and we're growing fast. I have no reason to suspect, Skeeter, that by the time WrestleMania comes and goes, that we will not have moved further up on the podcast rankings.
It's the quest for the top 100 now.
It's the quest for the top 100. Last time we were at 167 or something like that.
Yeah, something around there.
And it was the quest to break 150. And now we broke into the top 150 podcasts for professional wrestling in the country. And so now we're trying to break the top 100. So if we could break the top 100, which I think if we just keep doing what we're doing, brother, honestly,
I think too.
That is something that we will accomplish within the year. So, big shout out to you, Skeeter. Thank you for being a part of this. This podcast is what it is because you are here. And thank you to all the listeners. I genuinely mean that from the bottom of my heart. It is something that I could not have imagined when I started this about a year ago, that not only would I still be doing it, because I'm notoriously, I am a notorious start and stop type person. And so the fact that I'm still doing it a year later is a plus, but the fact that we are in the top 150 pro wrestling podcasts in the country is astonishing. And the fact that we're probably going to break into the top 100 by the end of the year, chef's kiss. Seriously. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Skeeter, how are you doing in light of all of this wonderful news, despite the fact that it is again snowing in Milwaukee?
It is. We're getting more snow. It was, we had a brief respite on Monday with some 70-degree weather and snow on the ground again and falling from the sky. So, but doing okay. Like we said, we've got some takes to get off on some wrestling we saw, but we'll talk about it when we get there.
We shall. I am sitting over here in a very, very uncomfortable long sleeve crew neck. And that's because the t-shirt that I had on when I ran in here to do this podcast is ratty. And so we're keeping this on despite the fact that it is a solid 84 degrees outside. And my fan is doing God's work right now to keep me from sweating through everything. But it's all good. We are getting it done, and we are here and ready to talk about wrestling. And even some wrestling that you're probably not watching, because I have been binging AAA.
Well, they threw you a bone on SmackDown.
Yeah. Oh, wait. What did they throw me on SmackDown? I forget.
We had the U.S. title match.
Oh, wait. Who?
El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr.
Oh, yes, I forgot.
Versus Carmelo Hayes.
I forgot. I forgot. It's honestly, it's all running together. Like the last week, I have probably watched 15, maybe 16 hours worth of AAA. Like since the first episode that WWE started airing, I've watched every single episode.
Wow.
And I am totally hooked. There's some interesting things, Skeeter, that we will talk about once we break into the main part of the show that I just find very interesting on what they do with the American programming versus what they do with AAA. That is interesting, and certain characters and how they're received. It's very interesting, and I love it. But Skeeter, if listeners and viewers are new to this space, you have walked into the door and you have no idea where you are. You're being told to leave and you don't know how to get back. How do they find their way back to this wonderful place that we call the Lariat Lounge?
You're going to catch the Lariat Lounge, this podcast, once a week, every week. You can find us on YouTube. Search the Lariat Lounge. That's where you'll find us. That's where you'll find our live streams for premium live events, any other live streams we do in the future. If you just want to listen to the podcast via audio, we're on all your favorite platforms. That's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever else you get your shows, you'll find us there. We're over on Instagram at the Lariat Lounge Podcast. That's where you can find posts, links to the live streams, where you'll find a picture of all those wonderful shirts you can go get over at Pro Wrestling Tees. And as always, the inbox is open at the Lariat Lounge at gmail.com.
Seriously, we cannot thank you enough. I know I've said thank you a bunch of times, guys. I'm going to continue to say it because I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Me and Skeeter, thank you. Seriously.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone who's out there listening.
Absolutely. Worldwide. If you're listening, leave us a like rating. If you're on YouTube, leave us a like. It is a small thing for you, but for us, it genuinely means the world. So we really, really, really do appreciate it. But without further ado, enough with the fluff. Let's get to the stuff. Skeeter, where do I begin? I guess we should start with, you know what? Before we start with the main attractions of SmackDown and Raw, I have to tell you, El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. I thoroughly enjoy him. I thoroughly enjoy him because you see a lot of him on AAA. And I think the reason why you saw him on SmackDown is because he is a great professional wrestler and he is great to watch in the ring. And I think that he would absolutely make an impact if he was somewhat more regular on the main roster. But I prefer him to be in AAA because AAA, Skeeter, tells stories slightly different. And some of the things that they do with their stories are genuinely impacted by how the fans respond to characters, right? This is no more evident than El Grande Americano. So it's interesting that when you watch WWE, Raw, SmackDown, wherever El Grande Americano appears, and we're talking about original El Grande, right? He is the face. And when we see the second El Grande Americano, he is the heel, right? This is flipped completely on its face when you're watching AAA. On AAA, El Grande Americano, the second one, is overwhelmingly cheered as the babyface. Overwhelmingly. And the original El Grande is booed. He is the heel to the Mexican wrestling fans that are there. And it's very interesting why that is. And part of it is because, and it's really weird, it's almost like American wrestling as a product looks at the parody of Lucha Libre in OG Americano as somewhat of a nod to Lucha Libre.
Yeah.
And with having El Grande, I'm going to call him El Grande Mexicano because that's what all the wrestling fans there want to end up calling him. And I honestly think that we're going to get a match at WrestleMania between the two of them for the name. I think that El Grande Americano is going to win. I think he's going to take the name El Grande Americano, and El Grande Mexicano is going to take that name. And that way we'll be able to tell them apart and they'll be two separate characters. But yeah, I think the American professional wrestling product looks at the parody almost as like a tip of the hat to Lucha
Yeah,
Libre.
that's what I'd say because that's how I see it more than
Yes.
anything.
Now, the Mexican fans, however, look at OG El Grande Americano as a joke, and that the second El Grande Americano, El Grande Mexicano, however, speaks fluent Spanish, has ingratiated
Yeah,
himself to the
Kaiser. Yeah.
culture. You know what I mean? Has ingratiated himself to the culture and embodies the spirit of Lucha Libre. Whereas OG is a parody, and the parody is the heel. And it's so interesting when you watch the programming, just how different those dynamics are. But have you caught any of the AAA?
I have not. I have not. What platform are you watching it on?
YouTube.
Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, my one AAA experience was it was a while ago. It was the Triple Mania that when Jeff Jarrett was doing Global Force Wrestling,
Okay.
he helped that get on pay-per-view in America with English commentary,
Okay.
and that was an experience to watch. I just remember everything was kind of like a beautiful disaster of a show. Like it really was. There was some cool stuff, but also there was just some crazy bad stuff, audio issues.
I
They
remember
had a
hearing about
cage.
that.
They had a cage got like caught up, and we had to take like a 15-20 minute break for them to fix it. And then I just remember the main event was Rey Mysterio against whatever Mystico Sin Cara Mystices, whatever name he was going by at the time.
Okay.
And they have this match, and for some reason, after the bell, they play Rey Mysterio's WWE music on the way out. Like he didn't come out to that. Like that wasn't his AAA music. But then when he was leaving, they just hit that music. And that was my lasting image of AAA.
Yeah,
Was
they
that
have some
beautiful
things.
disaster of a show.
They have some things like that that I've seen since catching up on AAA. Like
Mm-hmm.
the Wyatt Six have been showing up down there every so often.
Ah, those
And
poor AAA fans.
dude, honestly, they get received a little bit better down there. And the reason why I think that is because AAA is full of characters. Do you know what I'm saying? Like they're full
Yeah.
of characters. I'm still not a huge fan of Mr. Iguana. I'm just not. But Mr. Iguana fits in AAA because there are so many characters that honestly, it is reminiscent to me of the golden era of American professional wrestling. When you had characters like Earthquake and Typhoon and Tugboat and Kamala and Doink the Clown. You know what I mean? Like they had characters that were over the top and were very much they were very much the characters that they were playing and less of people and uh people with their attitudes or their personas turned up to 11.
Yeah.
So you have, I mean, like freaking what's it, the Psycho Clown? I mean,
Yes.
Psycho Clown is a freaking psycho clown.
He was part of yeah, I remembered him from one match on that AAA Mania that was I have no idea what kind of performer he is now, but it was one of the worst, most disastrous matches I've ever seen. There were a
Yeah.
bunch of there were a bunch of clowns involved, and there may have been a few little people. I don't know.
Oh yeah, minis.
Yeah, there was a there was psycho clown. There was a murder clown. I don't. There was a lot.
Yeah, they're a
I'll
stable.
have to look this up.
They're
Yeah.
stable. Like I can't remember what I can't remember what the other ones' names are, but yeah, there's a stable of them. There's a stable of them. And honestly, dude, I love it. I love it. The characters are just so rich and they know what they are. And the fans appreciate them for what they are. And I think that's why it just works. So when you have the Wyatt Six show up there, right? And they come down the aisle and they've all got their animal mask on and stuff like that. Their Wyatt Six mask. It does not feel out of place one bit because almost everyone down there is wearing mask. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
their mask and their themed characters, and it just kind of works. And it almost made me feel like the Wyatt Six should be used more so primarily on AAA. Like if you used them down there in AAA, they would make a greater impact on that type of product than they would on SmackDown or Raw. Because SmackDown or Raw just is an evolved WWE that is not leaning so much into the characters like Kane and characters like The Undertaker, like they used to back in the day. And so these characters, unless you are a Bray Wyatt and you have really made this connection with the audience and have been able to build this character that people are really going to get behind, regardless of how ridiculous it may be at times, it's not going to land with the WWE mainstream audience the way that it does in Lucha Libre. And it just works down there. I've just seen characters down there that are on WWE's roster that show up on AAA and they just get over. Ethan Page is huge. He's
Yeah,
huge in
I
AAA.
knew that because I knew that from when him and Chelsea Green were doing their thing down there.
Yeah, he's really huge down there. Oh, you know who's another big part of that show right now? Omos.
Oh,
So Omos is one member of the biggest heel faction in AAA right now. With Vikingo. And they are a freaking terror. And it works. It just works. He's like the hired hand of this heel faction. And it just works because he's so much bigger than every single person on that roster. He's a legit monster. And it just works. Dude, if you have not given yourself the opportunity, listeners, to tune into AAA, it is on YouTube. Go to YouTube and click on their live tab, and you'll have to scroll down through because it's got everything chronologically. But you can go all the way back to the first airing of AAA. They'll have all of the Triple Manias that they've had so far, and they do all of their PLEs and stuff right on the YouTube live. So the next one that's coming up is the Rey de Reyes. I think that stands for like King of Kings, and
yeah.
that is a title that they hold. It's like a tournament. It's almost like King of the Ring, but it's not exactly like King of the Ring. It's a tournament, and the 4 participants who make it to the finals compete in the Rey de Reyes. And the winner wins the sword of Rey de Reyes, which is the sword of the king. And it's this huge freaking sword. It looks freaking badass. And I can't wait. I genuinely can't wait. Corey Graves has found a new home at AAA. He's great
Oh,
with
I didn't realize he was down there.
he is the lead down there. So he's the lead down there along with currently with JBL and Rey Mysterio. So I mean it works out
Yeah,
really
I had no
well.
idea about that.
Yeah, they had Conan on that roster for a while though.
I
But
knew JBL was down there, and I love me some JBL.
oh dude, you'll love it. He is 1000% in his bag down there. Like
Yeah.
it just works. It works. So you should check it out. Do yourself a favor. But let's get to the story of last Friday. So Cody Rhodes gets gifted a championship match from Nick Aldis due to Drew McIntyre's actions at Elimination Chamber. And this match for the WWE Championship happens at SmackDown on March 6th. And after a hard-fought battle, your winner and new WWE Champion is one Cody Rhodes. Where this leaves Drew McIntyre going into Mania, I have no clue. But he ain't gonna be in that title match unless they bring him back, unless they do some sort of like triple threat or 4-way, which they might still do. But I don't know if I think they're gonna do it. Not with
Yeah,
Randy
I
being
don't.
the number 1 contender.
Yeah, I don't think so anymore. I really don't. I think we're just gonna get Cody versus Randy.
Yeah, I think we are. So we're probably gonna get 2 one-on-one main event matches for each of the titles.
Which we haven't had in a while, honestly. So
No, we have not. We have not. Actually, well, they weren't main events. But at 40, Seth versus Drew.
I guess technically, but I
Seth,
think these are going to be the 2 main events. So I was thinking more, how long's it been since we had
no, I'm with you.
main events that are 1-on-1?
Yeah, I'm with you. It's probably been a while since we've had something like this.
38, I think that was the Texas one, right? And
I
that was
think so.
Brock Roman and Stone Cold and KO. So I guess that was
Yeah, it's
2
been a while.
one-on-one times.
It's been a little while. It's been a little while. I'll be honest with you. It bugged me that we put Cody back on that title this close to Mania. But I'm gonna be real with you. The character of Sami Zayn
Yes.
is quickly becoming the voice of a contingent of WWE wrestling fans. He is saying things to Cody that someone like me is thinking. Because I'm sitting here thinking to myself, who but Cody loses the Rumble, loses the Chamber, but gets gifted a title match so that he can get another shot at the championship and a spot at WrestleMania. I'm not mad at anyone who looks at what's going on with Cody Rhodes and thinks to themselves the same thing that Sami Zayn is thinking. Because I felt like that too. And I felt like smacking half empty bottles of water off of storage containers in the backstage area as well. Because it was a little frustrating to me. And I think the programming that's going to happen between Randy and Cody could be good. It depends on what WWE decides to do with that. But I also think, and this is just my opinion, I don't know what SmackDown on Friday is going to hold, and I'm always open to change my mind because that is the medium of wrestling, and that's what they do. But to me, the idea of building something between Cody and Randy is always interesting because of their history and their legacy, pun intended. But my problem though is, does it feel like it loses a bit of something when Cody, despite the fact that he got cheated out of the Rumble because Drew took him out, right?
Mhm.
Then in the Elimination Chamber, he quote unquote gets backstabbed by Randy. Not really, because it's every man for themselves. But Randy RKO's him and pins him to win his spot at Mania. It seems like it takes a little something away when Cody then gets a special additional shot at the championship, wins it, and now he's going into WrestleMania as the champion. It seems like it takes a little bit of sting off the idea that Randy RKO'd him out of nowhere to get to WrestleMania, only for Cody to just find a little back doorway into getting into the main event and getting into the championship seat. So, your thoughts, Skeener, on the developments of Friday with Cody Rhodes beating Drew McIntyre, and now apparently we've got Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship at Mania.
Uh, first of all, what we got on Friday, I thought the match itself was great. I enjoyed the kind of the silliness of doing a couple fake out ref bumps in a row. They they
Yeah.
had Charles Robinson dodge a couple ref bumps and then take one anyways.
Yeah, he did.
I like I like that. I thought the match was really good. Both of them stealing each other's finishing moves. I thought the match came off good. As far as where we're going and Cody being champion and how they got there, yeah, probably not my preferred way. Obviously, wasn't what I was predicting was going to happen, but after sitting with it for a few days, probably this Cody Randy and what we're going to get one on one is probably going to end up being better than whatever the multi man match would have been, at least from a storytelling and a build perspective. My biggest worry is, like you said, we don't know what we're doing with Drew. But when we get into that, I mean, there is an idea. I didn't come up with it, but heard it elsewhere on some shows I was listening to that makes sense. But he's got the Jacob Fatu thing to deal with too, so we'll see where that goes. But I'm fine with it. I'm not as upset because I know what we'll get in Cody Randy, and I'm excited for that. They've been letting Randy really shine. Randy seems like he's on his game and up to the task to chase the number 15 and another world title, and I think people will be rooting hard for Randy Orton at WrestleMania, and I think WWE knows that and will be able to lean into it. So we'll see in the coming weeks if Randy references the concerns and trepidation that you mentioned in terms of why does Cody get this shot and how did he backdoor his way into this that Sami Zayn was mentioning. But I don't feel overly strongly about this the way some people do, just because I think, one, I like Cody to begin with, and I recognize that he's going to be champion at least a good amount of the time because that's what he is. He's one of the top guys. And also I'm looking forward to Cody and Randy, and just because we got there in a little bit of a messy way, it doesn't detract too much for me, at least.
So I want to know, Skeeter, what it is
Yeah.
that you heard as far as like what we could be looking at WrestleMania. Typically, I'm not down with a lot of spoilers, and I don't think this is a spoiler at all because they don't know
No, it's
anything.
not a no,
But
it's not a spoiler because it doesn't come from someone who would be a spoiler. But I was listening to one of the other few wrestling shows I listened to, was listening to Chris Van Vliet talk about it,
okay,
and talk about this was before a show he recorded before Friday, talking about, okay, if Cody wins, what could Drew do at WrestleMania? And he posited that maybe he faces Nick Aldis at WrestleMania,
now that I'd be
would
down
be
for.
which would be interesting. Obviously, Nick Aldis still in great shape. He's still, he's not old by any means. Can still go. Was a good wrestler, good performer. And I think that would make a lot of sense because Drew is going to have a beef with him. So we'll see how it develops. He's got Jacob Fatu to worry about, but I wouldn't put it past Drew to, next Friday go off and physically assault Nick Aldis. And I think that story's laid out pretty well.
Does it? So
But
before, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, and I forgot to mention it. As messy kind of as the Cody part, the Cody half of getting to this match and losing the title is, it really makes a lot of sense on the Drew side because he became champion, and then his eagerness to insert himself and attack everyone proactively all the time ends up being his undoing because he can't help but interfere in every match all the time. And that's what causes Nick Aldis to go back on as Nick said, what causes him to go back on the stipulation that, look, Cody can't challenge for this title unless he earns the shot, like with Royal Rumble again. But you know, Drew said he wouldn't interfere in the matches, and he did, and that's his undoing. So that side of the story, I think, was well done. We'll see where they go with the Cody side of it.
Yeah, we will. So the idea of Nick Aldis versus Drew McIntyre is a very interesting match. If we get Nick Aldis and Drew McIntyre at Mania 42, I will not be mad at that because it is a really great storytelling angle to use right there. And I'm always down with that. That is peak. We need Becky Lynch versus Jessica Carr as well because I feel like that story's been writing itself. But no, I'm down with that. Here's my only concern with that. Jacob Fatu. Is Jacob
Yes.
Fatu just going to be someone that Drew has to get past on his way to Nick Aldis? You know what I'm saying? Like, does Jacob Fatu at all factor into Cody's match? Because this beef has legitimately been with Cody for the most part. He came in and attacked Drew because Drew is supposedly the person who, knocked his teeth in. You know what I mean? But we haven't gotten any real one-on-one matches or one-on-one confrontations for real between Jacob and Drew. It's always been Jacob and Cody. So if Cody's moving on to Randy without any real conclusion to Jacob, and then Drew is going to face Nick Aldis, maybe, at WrestleMania. Like, are we really going to speed bump Jacob Fatu for a match with Nick Aldis?
Yeah, that's my thing. I don't know, and I'm, they have not clearly presented where Jacob Fatu factors into any of this, but they made him a big factor on Friday, so I think it's up in the air. We'll just have to see. Nobody, I don't think anyone outside of the writing team really can have a solid handle on where those pieces fall on the board for WrestleMania.
Right. And remind me real quick because I legitimately, guys, like, no joke. I watched SmackDown, and then over the weekend I think I probably watched like 6 hours of AAA and then Raw. So there's a lot of wrestling in my head right now, and some things are leaking out, and the stuff that's on the latest, on the the earlier side of that is kind of going away. How did Jacob Fatu factor into this whole thing again?
So during the during the sequence when the ref was down, Drew was going to hit Cody with a chair. And when he kind of put the chair back over his head, Jacob reached from the outside the ring and pulled the chair away from Drew.
Okay.
He stopped Drew from hitting Cody with the chair.
Why, Jacob? This makes no sense. It makes no sense.
Well, presumably still because Drew's the one that attacked him a long time ago and put him out
Yeah.
in order to steal the match and win the title and ultimately win the title in the first place.
Okay.
So Jacob still has the original beef with Drew because of that.
Okay, so all right, so there's that, right? Okay. So if that is the case and this was done in a way to screw Drew out of
Yeah.
the WWE championship, right? Okay.
I think that I think that's the setup because Drew screwed Jacob out of his opportunity.
Okay.
So Jacob's going to get the ultimate comeback and take the title away from him.
Okay. So that leaves a pretty clear on ramp for Drew versus Jacob.
Mhm.
The Nick Aldis idea is just so interesting. The
Right.
Nick Aldis idea is just very, very interesting.
And it could be, you get Drew Drew Jacob at WrestleMania, and then Drew and Nick Aldis is a big one for Backlash.
Yeah, I think you'd have to continue escalating the tension, right, between Nick and Drew. You'd have to continue escalating that because I don't think you'd be able to make it all the way through to Backlash. I don't think you'd be able to make it all the way through to Backlash to get to Nick Aldis and Drew just off the strength of their interactions so far. I think you can get there, but you'd have to escalate this in some way, which means that
I would be shocked if within the next few weeks Drew does not put his hands on Nick Aldis because he is going to be livid.
for
Yes,
sure.
we use the same phrasing there.
Yeah. Oh, of course he's going to be livid. He's going to be livid, and I think he's likely going to put his hands on Nick Aldis. And if Nick Aldis were to, I don't know, maybe put some sort of match stipulation on Jacob versus Drew at Mania that maybe puts Drew at a disadvantage, or it puts Drew in a match that he doesn't really want to be in, something that is going to be very painful. And then, he comes back around and he's got some, some choice words and some fisticuffs for Nick Aldis. Then we maybe get to Backlash that way. I mean, listen, it's a super duper interesting idea. And I almost want them to do it just because I like angles like that, where you kind of bleed the story over into characters that aren't always in-ring competitors. So I'm down for that anytime WWE is willing to try and give me that. Cody just throws a monkey wrench in this for me because with him being back as champion and Randy winning the chamber, it just seems only apropos that you do a singles match between Randy and Cody. And I don't think this is
For sure.
I
I don't
don't think Mania
I don't think
42.
they're messing that up.
Well, and I don't think Mania 42 Cody versus Randy is going to be the end of that feud. I think it's probably
I don't
the
either.
beginning.
I think so as well.
Mm-hmm. I think it's probably going to be the beginning. And so,
Because
sure,
that's got legs for as long as you want it.
well, I told you like before, I would love for WWE to start building the Randy and Cody stuff now with the blow off at SummerSlam.
Yeah, that'd be great. And you
know
can
what I mean?
you can go through like this is one of those feuds with history, and Cody's going to be around, and if Randy's seemingly up for making a lot of dates, you can do you can run the whole gamut, which I mean is, the long feud, we do the singles match, we do the rematch, we do the gimmick match, we do another gimmick match. Like, yeah, you can do a lot of stuff with this.
You absolutely can.
So I would love for this to be long term. If it goes to SummerSlam, I would love that.
Yeah, I think it obviously, like you said, and I agree, it has all the legs in the world to get to SummerSlam, and you could go further, but I also feel like there is something to be said about stories that go too long. And you've got things you can build with Randy and Cody, and SummerSlam is in August. You know what I mean? So it's like you've got time. That's plenty of time. Is it in August or is it September? Early
August.
September. Okay.
It'll
So
be
it's in
August. I'll
August.
check real quick.
I believe it's in August. But
Yeah, it's August 1st and 2nd.
okay, yeah. So it's
It is
the
early
start of
August.
August, right? So you've got April, May, June, July. You've got 4 months, right? You've got 4 months. You've got two PLEs between WrestleMania and Backlash, right? To build a story that already has legs underneath it because the history is there. And so I am down with that. I wish Cody wasn't going in as the champion because I kind of felt like you could lean a little bit more on the storytelling if the title was not involved. But, suffice it to say, we are where we are. The Golden Boy has his gold again, and
I do, but before we move off the title,
yeah,
I know there are people that are upset, and because I see it online that like they feel like Drew is not getting like what he deserves in terms of things. And I just wanted to point out a couple things. Like the guy has been a three-time champion. He has been champion, WWE champion for as many days as The Rock. He has been WWE champion for more days than Kurt Angle, for more days than JBL was. He has more WWE title reigns than CM Punk, AJ Styles, Randy Savage. He has as many WWE title reigns as Shawn Michaels. It's like he is in rarefied air. And I get that, some of it was during COVID through no fault of his own, but like he is reaching with being a three-time champion and being a champion for over 350 days holding the WWE title. He's getting up there in terms of his legacy with the company. For a guy that feels like, and I'm guilty of it too sometimes, of feeling like he is not up there. I will say he's getting up there when you look at the numbers.
So let me ask you this:
hmm
how many times has Cody Rhodes been WWE champion?
Three now, as many as Drew. More
Okay,
days, but the same number of reigns.
okay. So in the amount of time that it's taken taken Drew McIntyre to be in this rarefied air, Cody has already lapped him in time.
I mean, he hasn't lied.
He's had same amount of championships, but he's
hmm
eclipsed him in how long he's held the title.
Yes, but
He he's eclipsed him in title
you know what?
defenses.
Yeah, but I wasn't putting Drew on the same level as Cody.
But
Like,
that's the thing, though.
I mean,
I think that's the reason
Cody's gonna be
why.
Cody's gonna be top 10 here pretty soon.
But the point is though.
Okay. So my side had nothing to do with Cody. It was more about people that feel that
Drew is
Drew,
being done dirty.
yes, in and of itself, separate from the Cody issue.
So I
Because I think the issue of Cody is separate from the issue of is Drew getting done dirty.
no, it's okay. So I hear what you're saying, but I also think that the inference that Drew is being done dirty, that is carried by people who feel that way, does not get removed from the comparison. I think that even though you're talking about two separate things here, I think to say that you shouldn't compare them, I don't know if that is possible in a day and age where we do count the title reigns and people do pay attention to how long. Hell, nobody is going to hold a candle to what Roman Reigns was able to do in his last title run because of how long he held it. So we're still in an era and still in a business that puts something on how long you hold the title, how many title defenses that you have, right? And I think that it's something to be said. And I'm not saying that WWE is doing this because I heard those statistics that you rolled out there, and I didn't know that, and that's really interesting. But my perspective on Drew kind of getting done dirty is more so predicated on the idea that, like, has this man been champion at any major PLE? No, he has not.
Yes.
What? Which one? When he won the title at
Oh,
COVID Mania? When he
so are
won
we
the
talking
title at COVID Mania?
about going? So what do you mean by been champion? Because he was champion at WrestleMania 40 after he won. To be
Okay.
fair,
Yes. All right. Here's the thing. Let's look at that.
and
He beat
was
what
it?
Brock Lesnar at COVID Mania, right? In front of no fans.
Yes.
Then he cashes in and wins the championship on Seth Rollins at 40, right? And then immediately
No,
loses it.
no, he won at 40 and then got cashed in on.
That's what I mean. That's what I said. He beat Seth Rollins for it and then got cashed in on. Did he beat Seth? Who did he win that title off of?
He beat Seth and then Damian cashed in on him.
That's
But
what I'm saying. Yeah, he won
I-
it at Mania and got cashed in on, right?
yes,
Okay, yeah. He won it at Mania, then he got cashed in on, right? Then he wins the title here and drops it to Cody right before WrestleMania. It would be nice if the guy was able to win the championship, be champion, and go into a major PLE as the champion. But every time he's won that belt, going into one of the big four PLEs, right, which have always been our big four, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, right? He has never won that title and carried it into a major PLE. He lost that title that he
to
won from
be
Brock.
he just did though. He just carried it into Royal Rumble
Oh, he just
and
didn't compete. That's right.
No, he beat Sammy Hogan.
Oh, he did.
Yeah,
Okay, he got one.
he beat Sammy Hogan in a home game. Do you know how hard that is?
That's true. I didn't think about that because
Yeah,
I'm sure Sammy
that's
cooked the
not easy
books
to.
in his
Yeah,
favor.
that's not
How
easy
he
to
got
do.
over cookbook Sammy is, you know what? I walk it back. I walk it back because not many people have done
Yeah,
cookbook Sammy like that.
I get what you're saying. There is an argument for that. My response to people that think, and not you that think too hardly about that, would be somewhat inflammatory. So I may hold back.
Say it.
If we're talking about like how many times he defended it, how long it is, like it's not real. This is a real competition. Like it shouldn't. I get that sometimes perception is based on that, but like it's not real. Like he doesn't. It shouldn't be based on that.
You know
It
what?
should,
I would
yeah.
agree with you, right? But I am a stickler for consistency. Okay. So I would agree with you if in another conversation, not saying this is a conversation between me and you, but a conversation I had on Triple R's podcast when they did the bracket. That would be one thing if it was consistent across the board. I can't look at it and say that, oh, it doesn't really matter that much because it's not real. When the argument that Roman Reigns is the GOAT is because he held the title for X amount of days. And listen, if you're going to use it, right, you have to use it consistently. You can't put it down when it's convenient. You have to carry it all the time. And it doesn't have to change the outcome, but it has to stay consistent in order for it to mean something. Because if it only means something when it's your guy, right, and it doesn't mean something when it's not your guy, then does it really count for anything? Because Roman Reigns' 1,000+ day title run would then just be, I mean, it's not real. So I mean, who really cares? How's he really the greatest? That was written that way. It was written for him to beat all these guys that way. Doesn't really matter, right? That's incendiary to some day oneers, to some tribal chief folks.
That's removing all the context, though.
What do you mean?
Like it removes all the context of like what Roman did and how he was presented over that time. But now we're crossing. I get what you're saying, and yeah, a little bit of it is when we're doing this stuff, it will always be. And I try to be objective and consistent, but I never claim to be. So I want people to like recognize that. So like, yeah, sometimes like, yeah, the more we do this podcast, people will be able to go back and be like, oh, but you said with such and such. Well, yeah, of course. You're not supposed to remember that. Uh, I don't know. I'm just making my point. I think Drew has been done better by WWE and being presented as a top guy for a long time than some people will admit when they're caught up in the moment. I think that was more my point. Is that
Sure.
he is reaching like rarefied air with championship reigns and how long he's been champion for.
Yeah,
Even if it hasn't been on the biggest stage, and I want to do this over between this show and now, like look at actually how many different people have carried top titles into WrestleMania.
yeah.
I bet it's less than you'd think.
I hear you, and not to belabor the point or beat a dead horse, right? But I also don't think that what you stated there is the argument that people are making. I don't think people are arguing that Drew is not ahead of where some other people could possibly be and what it is that he's been able to accomplish. They're talking about, contextually speaking, Drew feels like he is being done dirty in these situations for him to be such a big star. Because Drew McIntyre, genuinely speaking, is in rarefied air when it comes to his level of stardom on the show. To say that Drew McIntyre is on the same level as Sami Zayn is hogwash. That's not
Yeah,
true.
I don't
You know what I'm
I don't
saying?
think anyone's saying.
Yeah. And look, listen,
Well, I don't know.
Drew McIntyre,
Some people would say that, but yeah.
I would venture to say, look,
Sa-
some people would say a lot of things.
Sammy might say
Oh,
that.
Sammy absolutely says that. Sammy absolutely says that. That I heard from the dirt sheets that Sammy had beef backstage because he was talking about Drew wasn't on his level, and there's nobody better than Sammy. Who
Oh,
better than Sammy?
I got a dirt sheet for you later in the day
Who better than
that
Sammy?
I actually love. Well, not
But no, seriously though,
later in the show, but
like Drew, I think Drew is on the same level as the top guys on the program. And I
yes.
think when you look at who those top guys are, if you had to pick four, you'd probably say Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins,
Oh, we're
Roman
going both
Reigns.
shows.
Yeah, I'm talking about just in general. The tippity top, Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, CM Punk.
Yeah.
Okay? Those are probably your top guys across both shows.
Yes, I'd say.
Okay? To say that Drew McIntyre is not in that
So,
airspace is
yeah, I mean,
bananas.
he
I,
just
I, I would have to call
I
cap on that.
I would say that though. Like in terms of if we're talking about like just sheer popularity, and I'm sure WWE has the metrics that would say like, but I think that's not as much of a slight as some would see it. Like he is not any of those guys. That doesn't mean he's not one of the best to ever do it. He's just not Roman Reigns. He's not CM Punk. He's not quite Seth Rollins. He's not quite Cody Rhodes. That's okay.
Yeah. I'm not saying that it's that my issue is not so much that he is not those guys. He's Drew McIntyre.
Mm-hmm.
There was a point before Drew, I believe it's before Drew won the title off of Seth,
Mm-hmm.
that Drew was cooking on a level that no one else was touching him on the microphone, on the shows. He was just in his flow state. You know what I mean? And it was really landing, right? For you to be constantly butting heads with the likes of Cody Rhodes, right? And he's your golden boy, right? CM Punk, who's another one of your top guys, right? The only people who he is not brushing up against often are Seth and Roman. But it's not because of hierarchy. It's because one, Roman's not here. So when he is here, he's tied into very specific feuds. So he's not really around to do a whole bunch of stuff with other people. And Seth is similar, but he's here.
To be fair, Roman had a pretty big match with Drew.
Yeah, that he did.
Where we all thought Drew was going to win.
Was going to win.
Yeah.
So and I think that goes to the point, right? I think Drew is, generally speaking, not by everyone, but I think Drew is generally looked at as being a part of that top tier. Now, you could say that top tier also has tiers, right? That there are people at the front end of that top tier and people who are at the back end of that top tier, right? But that doesn't mean that they are ranked. That means that they're all in that top tier. And I think that for some people, they see Drew McIntyre as being in that top tier, right? And him being in that top tier, he gets in these situations where the fans really want him to be. They want him to win, right? And he gets close. he wins, but he doesn't like get it. He doesn't get the wins the way that like a Cody would get a win. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Which is kind, which is almost like, this is a chicken and egg thing with like, yeah, he doesn't get the wins, so like, doesn't that make him not in that tier? Which I get, goes back against what I said earlier about, well, it's not real. But
Yes,
again,
yes, it does.
my initial thing was just like WWE Championship reigns, number and days. He is Shawn Michaels. He's less than 20 days less than like Shawn Michaels.
And is Shawn Michaels not in that rarefied top tier?
Yes, which goes to the point. Like, I don't think Drew needs that. I don't think Drew needs that to solidify his perception.
I get what you're saying,
It's,
right? But I also think that your exception also proves the rule, because if he is in that top tier, right? Because if he's in the same bracket as Shawn Michaels, nobody would deny that Shawn Michaels is in the top echelon of the top echelon, right?
mm-hmm.
So if he is in that same space and WWE does view him in that same space, right? I think that it's perfectly reasonable for a Drew McIntyre fan to feel like he's being done dirty. And I think it comes down to where you invest with regards to storylines, right? Me, I am
Yeah.
a story person. And so the kayfabe aspect of things don't really matter to me, even though I recognize them. And the backstage stuff, I know about it, but I watch for the story. And I think that when it comes to the story, I say this as somebody who watches movies and criticizes the story, but don't criticize the writers. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't criticize the writers. I don't say, oh, man, that story ended kind of weird. These writers suck. Or, it's not like that. It's just like, that's just how the story ended. I think that Drew McIntyre's story is being told as someone who gets the rug pulled out from underneath him. You know what I'm saying? At the big moments. And I think that if that story is being told the way that they're trying to tell it and it's being told well, yeah, you're going to get fans who are going to feel like he's being done dirty, because that is the story that is being told. So I think that some people are in their stand bag.
Which to a point, I think it's been very clear that is like the story, that is like his overarching like story throughout the last few years, is like, yeah, he fights it, but like it is like the rug pull.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess, I guess I didn't think about it like, the Drew McIntyre fan, like, yeah, they are made to feel that way because that's kind of the way it is.
Yeah.
Like, it is always the rug pull.
Yeah.
But it's all, which is interesting because it also is seemingly like that's what drives the character and what makes the character so good, is that he gets to fight against that and occasionally does overcome and get the title, but then it he's just so good at being the guy that got the rug pulled that they can go back to it.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree. I think that is how all of this lands in the realm of watching professional wrestling and understanding the product, right? Drew McIntyre's character is one who consistently and constantly performs at a high level, gets the rug pulled out from underneath him, whether he is a good guy or whether he is a bad guy, right? And so it's going to engender those types of feelings in people who are Drew McIntyre fans. And those fans run the diaspora as well, right? You've got Drew McIntyre stands, and the Drew McIntyre stands are going to be genuinely freaking butthurt. But you know what I'm saying? They're going to be genuinely butthurt by this and feel like WWE is screwing him over. But it's just the way the story is being told, right? It's the way the story is being told, and that's Drew McIntyre's story. And then you've got the people who are just like, oh no, I mean, all of this is fake. It's not real. It's like, okay, dude, chill out. It's we know that, and so you've got those people who are all over the place with it, right? But at the end of the day, Drew is a top tier guy,
Yes.
comparatively speaking to some of his contemporaries in that space. I don't think that he is oftentimes portrayed in the same regard, right? And I think sometimes it's a bit unfair to Drew, because I think those who are criticizing Drew use a sliding scale. And I think that if you were
Who criticizes Drew though? I've
Well,
never seen one of these humans.
well, no, but so okay, check it out. How many matches has Roman Reigns won since he dropped the title to Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 40?
I can look it up.
I can tell you right
Not
now, it's
not
not a
enough.
lot.
Not enough.
Of course, you'd say that. Of course, you'd say that.
You'd say it too. You want him. You want him here winning every week.
No, I don't. But I do believe that he has not won a lot since since he lost the title to
So
Cody.
so since he lost the title to Cody,
Yep.
I will give you a list of matches.
Okay.
Let's see. What year was that?
That was 24.
24. Okay, yes. So, since WrestleMania 40, we have he has wrestled 11, he has participated in 11 matches.
In 2 years. Got it.
A little less than 2, but he
Okay.
he won't be wrestling again, so it's going to stay there.
Yeah, right.
Cody and Roman beat Jacob and Solo at
Okay.
Bad Blood.
Okay.
Roman and the Usos lose to Jacob, Solo, and Tama Tonga at
Okay.
Crown Jewel.
Right. That was I don't want to see you till Christmas.
No, that was the year before. This is still 2004.
Wait, 2024, right?
Or it's 2024. Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. Then he wins War Games with CM Punk, the Bloodline and CM Punk.
Right.
They win
Okay.
War Games against Bronson and the New Bloodline.
Right.
He beats Solo in Tribal Combat on the Netflix debut.
Okay.
He does not win the Royal Rumble last year.
Okay.
He loses at WrestleMania. He and Jay beat Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed at SummerSlam last
Okay.
year. He beats Bronson Reed at Clash in Paris.
Okay.
Then he loses to Bronson Reed at Crown Jewel.
Okay.
He loses War Games against the Vision, Drew, and Brock Lesnar.
Okay.
And then he wins the Royal Rumble.
So what is
And
that
that is it.
win-loss in those 11 matches?
6-4?
6 W's and 4 losses?
Or wait. Okay, you were supposed to be counting.
I-
One win, 2 wins, 3 wins, 4, 5, 6. He has 6-5 since WrestleMania 40, if you include the Royal Rumbles.
Right. So 6 wins, 5 losses.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. So he's above 50%.
Just barely, but think about that. Think about Roman's only winning a little over half the matches he's been involved with.
Right. Right. And so
Granted, he won a lot for a long time, so I'm not saying it's wrong.
no. I'm just saying if you take into account the idea that Roman only wins a little over half of the matches that he wrestles in, I think there is a case to be made of throwing out the idea that, like, if you're not always getting W's, does that really mean that you're a top guy? Like, I think you can throw that out because Roman doesn't win all of his matches. In fact, he loses almost
Not
half of the
anymore.
matches that he's in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, like, I think for Drew McIntyre fans, I want to say something nice. I want to say that, like, his time is coming. But I honestly, if I'm being real with you, I don't know if WWE view Drew that way. I think he's one of those top guys, but it doesn't make any sense to me why they continue to put Drew in a situation where he wins the title at non-peak moments. It doesn't make any sense. And the peak moment that you give him, you either take it immediately away from him or there are no fans in the building. It is what it is. It is what it is. I think, however, Drew, if Drew goes into WrestleMania and he wrestles Nick Aldis, I think he has the potential to steal the show for the night he's on. I think there's
That'd be
a
a
potential
really
to do
fun
that.
match.
It would be a
I would
fun
love
match.
to see that.
It would be a really fun match. And I think it would be unpredictable what the outcome could be because of the story that they're trying to tell. You know what I'm saying? Like who knows where that story could go. But no, listen, I feel for you, Drew fans. If you have something that you want to add to this conversation about Drew that Skeena and I did not touch on, send us an email, reach out to us to the socials, let us know what you're thinking, because Drew McIntyre has been at least one of the superstars that we receive comments on when we're watching live streams, and people will post it. They want Drew to have his moment in the sun. And so I know you guys are out there. Let us know what you're thinking, because you all are vocal at the very least, and I can appreciate that. So, looking here on SmackDown, let's touch on some of these other high points here.
Yeah.
So,
There's one thing I have strong feelings about, and one thing I love for you.
give it to me.
What I love for you is
Yeah.
that you manifested it, and we're getting it. And I'm happy thinking about how happy you're going to be next Friday watching Jade Cargill and Michin.
Yeah,
Because you wanted it,
I
and we got
did.
it. We got it.
I did.
We got it.
I did. And we're
You d-
going to
you
get it.
you deserve this. Is what you do.
You know what? I think we all deserve this. I think we all deserve Michin and Jade.
I think you have to watch this, and you're not allowed to look at your phone once. You've got to be glued. You've got to be glued to the screen.
I'm going to tell you right now, Skeeter, my eyes will be squarely locked on that match.
It better be.
I think, however, the point behind wanting Jade and Michin was for WWE to give us Jade versus Michin when it mattered to Jade's story. Now, I still think that this
Oh,
could
you
matter. I
yeah,
still think that
you
this could matter, because I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm just gonna go ahead and spill the beans here. I think Michin and BFAB join Jade. I think they
Ooh.
become Jade's like entourage, her girls, her hitters, right? Like she had when she was in AEW. She had her hitters, right? I think Michin and BFAB start rolling with Jade, and they are her entourage. I think it will be a great glow up for BFAB and Michin to run around with the world champ, because I think that Jade. I don't know if Jade is going to lose that title to. I don't know if she's going to lose the title to Rhea. The jury's out for me on that one right now, but I like it that way, not knowing who's going to win. But yeah, I think that this could still serve a purpose. I wanted it to happen before, because I didn't know what the hell we were doing with Jade. You know what I'm saying? Like she had so few competitors. You know what I mean? And it's like we were rapidly approaching WrestleMania season. What are we doing? And then you had this story that you've been building on. Was it the strongest story? No. Did it have the strongest components? No. But it was something that you were investing your time and energy in. And then to just kind of go away from it, I'm just kind of like, it seemed like a missed opportunity to at least put a building block there and then build off of it and continue on. But when they just kind of left the loose end hanging, it just seemed like a wasted opportunity. And I do respect the fact that BFAB and Michin show up to work each week and, you know what I'm saying, and perform to do something for the fans. And if you just drop the loose end, I don't know, it feels kind of bad for the wrestlers. So I wanted that to happen. It's happening now. Where it goes, my genuine hope, genuinely, is that Jade beats the brakes off of Michin.
Yeah,
And not
and
in a
where it goes is it goes on about 8:40 Eastern time, and then we go to commercial after Jade has won at about 8:48, entrances included.
yeah, I don't think it should be a real contest. I think Michin should get her moment to shine, where she shows that in a world that's not this one, she could be capable. But then Jade needs to thoroughly demolish her going into WrestleMania, right? She needs to look strong. But this also then proves to Michin and BFAB that if you can't beat them, join them. You know what I'm saying? The next time we run a
I
story with
that's
Jade having some people in her face, they need to get jumped by Michin and BFAB. And then you find out that Michin and BFAB are rolling with Jade.
See, I know what you're doing. You're angling for not only this match, now you want the big Rhea Michin match on the way to Mania.
Um,
And this is what you're talking yourself into.
is it though? Does it
Sounds like
serve
it.
the story?
If
Does
they're
it
her
serve the
hitters.
story? If it serves the story, sure, give it to me. What's she gonna what is Rhea gonna be doing between now and WrestleMania? Talking. I mean that's fine, but
Talking, which is what I have got some feelings on.
let's get to it.
Is
Let's talk
that
about it. Let's talk about it. Because
that
look,
that
Trick got dumped at the beginning of the show. So I guess I got to hold down the
But
let's talk about it until he gets back
but
up on his
that
feet.
was they are they again. This is just more evidence they know what they've got in Trick
For sure.
because he gets to come out and
Interrupt Randy.
bow up to Randy again, and even though he takes the RKO, he's still the crowd's into it. The entrance now with the thing,
The
the little
podium.
spinner thing. Yeah, that's awesome. And it's very clear there are big things sooner rather than later for Trick. And deservedly so.
Agreed. Now, the
Yeah.
talking stuff that bugged you. What are we talking about?
That Rhea and Jade promo was real weird to me. And none of it landed. And it didn't seem to land with the crowd, or maybe that was just me. But that's not what I wanted.
Okay. What did you want?
Well, I don't know, but not that. Remember, there was a WWE 24 when they first started doing it, and it was after I think it was KO and Jericho at WrestleMania. And KO goes in the back and talks and like asks Vince, he's like, "Is that good? Is that what you wanted?" And he just goes, "No." That was me when I watched that. No. Was that not weird to you? They're like Jade comes out and Jade's like, "Ah, you got big arms, but they're not as big as mine. You got nice legs, not as nice as mine." And then Rhea gets on the mic and she's like, "You know what? You're right. My arms aren't as big as yours. But mine are built for fighting, not looking good." It didn't hit with me. It was weird to me and I didn't like it.
I didn't mind it.
Well,
I didn't
there you
mind
go.
it.
Difference of opinion.
I didn't mind it. I thought that the way in which it was delivered kind of superseded what they were saying because I understand the character of Jade Cargill. I understand the character of Jade Cargill, and I understand how WWE is telling this character. Right? I think Jade believes that she is that bitch in every facet of the word. And so, from the way that she shows up to the ring, what she wears on camera, how she beats people up, she overwhelms them with her strength, right? It's not about smooth technique. It's not about being a submission expert. It's not about having 1,001 holds like your Dean Malenko. It is about overwhelming supremacy, right? And that's how she comes to the ring. And she carries that in every facet of what she does. So when she comes against Rhea, that's what she brings to the table. I'm that bitch in every way, shape, or form. You can't compare to me in anything. And that's why I'm going to stop you. And then Rhea kind of comes back with, you know what? All those things that you just said, they may be true, but I'm built for this. I'm built for what we do right here. And when it comes to you and me in the ring, I'm going to put my foot in your ass and walk it dry because that's what I do. Because when it comes to that wrestling, I'm that bitch.
You should have written this promo because that was better than what we got.
Oh, you just missed the context, brother. I think
I,
you were
I
looking at. I
got
think you were
I
looking at
got the
Jade.
context. I got the context. I didn't like the diction.
Fair. I listen.
I got what they were saying. I didn't like how they said it.
Listen. Okay, I can understand why someone would feel like that promo was a bit lackluster. I can understand it, but I also feel like
Well, especially coming after they came at each other so hot on social media.
see, that's the part right there. If I had any criticism at all, it's not so much that the social media stuff was what it was, but I also think that there was so much that was built around that about like, are they really mad at each other? I'm still seeing stuff right now from wrestling channels that I have never heard of before that are popping up in my feed talking about the real scoop behind what happened with Rhea and Jade. Like, shut the fuck up. There's no real scoop. Shut up. Right? But it's these people who are either they are trolls or they are kayfabe monsters. And those kayfabe monsters, if you don't know what that means, ladies and gentlemen,
I've never heard this term, so hit me with
it's a term I just made up. I'm coining it
Oh,
now.
okay. Okay.
It may end up on a T-shirt. I might do a T-shirt with like a bridge, and it's like in the dark corner of the bridge, there are two little
Yeah.
eyes. It's a little kayfabe monster. But
I'm in. I like this.
But no, the kayfabe monster is someone who a story develops and they immediately go into the deepest corners of lore based storytelling that have not existed, that was never portrayed. What made you think that this was real? Because it was on Instagram? Because it happened on social media? Do you think it's real? God, a product of 2026. The people who think that everything that's online is real. Like, come on. Like, are we being seriously? Do you really think that WWE was going to allow that to happen in that way after the Charlotte Tiffany stuff?
Yeah.
Like, do we really think that it's going to go that route again? Again. Come on. Like, let's be real here. But I think that the online stuff was blown so much bigger than that balloon was ever supposed to get inflated. When you get here to where they have to step into the ring, I think some people's expectations were inadvertently raised past the level of deliverability. Because anything that they were going to deliver in that ring, I think was going to fall short of the hype. I think Rhea Ripley is as complete of a professional wrestler as you can put together. I think her abilities on the microphone are good. I think she can hold her own. Do I think that Rhea is the best promo? No. I don't think she's the best promo in the women's division. I think there are people who cut promos far better than her. But Rhea holds her own. Jade, I think Jade is coming into her own when it comes to the promos. She's getting a lot better. But is she the best promo? No, she's not.
Yeah. And honestly, my issue was more with the Rhea side of it, which it was almost like she was too humble, and there was like too much humility for what we've seen with Rhea before. I don't think Rhea should ever be conceding to anyone that their muscles are bigger.
But they are, though.
It's just me. Are they that much bigger? Like, I know Jade's like, well,
Yes. Take a look at
I
Jade
know she's
Cargill's
more. I
biceps,
know
triceps, trapezius muscles, her lats, her delts, her quads, her hams. Yeah, dude, she is bigger.
bigger.
Yes.
She's more cut. She's more cut. I'll give you that.
No. She's definitely squatting more. She's definitely benching more. She's definitely she is bigger than Rhea. Now, not bigger in terms of like Rhea compared to like Raquel in size, right? But no, musculature. Yes, absolutely. Look at her shoulders, dog. I'm not even looking at pictures right now. But look at Jade's shoulders versus Rhea's. Rhea's is broad shouldered, but Jade's shoulders.
I think it's closer than you think.
I think.
I think it's closer than you think.
I'm not saying.
Look, these are both jacked up ladies.
Let me ask you
obviously
this
are
closer
throwing
than
it
you
around
think,
in the gym.
Does closer than you think negate the fact that one is bigger than the other?
No, but it negates the fact that like the Rhea Ripley character should admit that she is physically inferior.
Well, she
at
didn't.
least to
She
me.
just said that your muscles are bigger than mine.
Yeah, and I didn't like it.
Right, because I think there's
I don't like her saying that.
for you there's an implied there's a level of what's the word? There's a level of implied superiority.
Yes.
In allowing Jade to state the obvious.
I don't think it's that obvious.
But it is though. And it is though. And here's the thing. I think this is just me.
See,
I think that it shows the strength of a character. I think that it shows the strength of a character to admit the obvious, right? Because it doesn't run counter to what your strength is, right? I think Rhea's strength is that she is going to wrestle circles around Jade. Jade, yeah, your muscles may be bigger than mine, but she never said that I'm small. She never conceded that she was small. She said your muscles may be bigger than mine. You know what I'm saying? Your legs may be bigger than mine. But when it comes to what we do here in this ring, that's what my muscles are built for. My muscles are built for getting this job done. And when it comes to our match, you're going to get that work, right? To me, it showed Rhea's strength. She doesn't need to argue against the obvious. She didn't have to win that battle. That's not going to win the battle at Mania. Your muscles ain't going to get you there.
Right, which was the context and what she said.
Yes, and that's why to me, I'm like, okay, if I had to judge who won that, I'd be like, Rhea won that. That's a dub for Rhea.
So we got 5 more SmackDowns till WrestleMania, 5 or 6.
Something like that.
I'm seeing, given what we've said, given the promo, I'm seeing plenty of time for a pose down,
Boo.
a weightlifting competition,
Boo.
an arm wrestling competition.
This is
Like,
getting terrible. This is becoming the
yeah,
worst
this is
WrestleMania
that's
buildup
perfect.
ever. This is
No,
becoming the worst WrestleMania buildup ever.
see,
No,
that is pure sports entertainment. You want to get them
that
a pose down?
we don't need that.
Whew.
We don't need that. What I want to see next week.
Maybe you don't speak for we.
Listen,
Don't speak for we.
listen, it would be nice to see, but you can do listen, if they want to post pictures on socials of them posing or in bikini shots
Well, if
to
they
set the
did,
internet on
if
fire
those two, yeah, if those two did a pose down on SmackDown, you want to talk about going viral? That would do numbers.
for all the wrong reasons. For all the wrong reasons. I
No, I don't
guarantee
think
you
so.
the
I don't think
trolls
so.
from under the bridge would crawl out from the woodwork and they would start to lambast WWE for clawing back the age-old, putting women on
I'm not.
display
I'm
to
not asking it for that. I'm asking for the same
I
pose
know
down
why
they
you're
had with
asking, but the
with
trolls
with
don't
Triple
care.
Triple H and Scott Steiner.
The
Like,
trolls don't care about your reasons. It's 2026, dog. Your reasons mean nothing to what the results are. And that's how they're going to play it. I think that would be a completely asinine move for WWE to do. But you could, however, allow them to do that on their socials. And listen, if you did it, I would do it exactly like this. I wouldn't make it deliberately obvious, right? It can be something that can be subjectively implied, right? Like Jade posts a picture of her like working out, right? And then Rhea posts a picture of her working out. And you're not necessarily putting one to one together, but the fans will do all the work for you. That's the same way they did with this last week. You had one or two posts and the fans ran crazy with it, right? That's the biggest pop that this whole feud has had so far because it didn't compare when they got in the ring with each other. So let the fans continue to carry it.
I still say we put them in the ring with some dumbbells and a bench and let them go at it.
Some baby oil, some lights.
No, that's what you're. Well, the lights are going to be there. You're adding the baby oil.
Listen, when bodybuilders go to bodybuilding competition, they baby oil up. They want their muscles shining. They want all the angles caught.
Well, that's for the pose down.
Don't you need baby oil for that?
Yeah, but that's another week. I'm doing the weightlifting competition week.
Listen, listen, all I know is that WWE needs to stay away from the baby oil. We are way too close to Diddy to be bringing baby oil into any situation with anybody.
That's gonna be the next Instagram poll. It's just gonna be Jade Cargill, Rhea Ripley, pose down. Options: thumbs up or thumbs down. We'll see who wins.
Listen, I'm gonna vote right now.
You can vote. You get one vote.
I voted twice. Twice.
You can
Two
vote.
thumbs
You
down.
can vote. You can vote 4 times, and you're still gonna lose that one.
You're right. You're right. Because there are going to be some people who want to see them pose. And listen, I get it. Gooners unite. But I think that this
see now you're missing. You are missing the message here.
Am I?
I missed it in the promo, but see now you're out of control.
I'm out of touch. Listen, this is just getting started. I think that it has room to grow. And honestly, dang, I hit the mic hard there. I think Jade just needs to come back on Friday and really have something scathing to say to Rhea after she beats Michin. Like, I don't think
she can't let Rhea steal her catchphrase like that.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's obviously going to be more to be said here because, Rhea's not going to have the last word 5 weeks out. And so, we'll wait and see how that turns out. I'm honestly thinking that this match is going to be one of the more fun matches to watch.
For sure. I mean, I'm anticipating it.
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
Jade's biggest showcase opportunity so far.
1,000%. 1,000%. So, we'll see. It's way too early in my mind to try and predict the winner, though I know some people probably are doing that already. But like I said at the top, when we first started talking about this, I'm not convinced either way who's going to win this match. So
Yeah, I think it's going to be a toss up down to the end. So.
and then that's what you want, right? Like that's what you should want. You should want to go into WrestleMania not knowing who's going to win the matches. It makes for the better show. So let's see. Back over here. Trick getting RKO'd. Dr. Wagner Jr. not winning the US Championship, which is fine. I think he's the Latin American champ in
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's Latin American champion AAA. He's doing the business too. His matches are really great. Let's see. So Charlotte and Alexa defeat Julia and Kiana James. That's kind of a given. I hope they do more with Kiana James. She's really been standing out. I think she needs to break away from Julia, but the tag team division needs competitors.
Did Lash and Nia get new music? Did I hear that correctly?
Is that not Lash's music?
Was it? I thought I heard a little bit of a remix.
It may be.
It was definitely, yes, they came out to it. What are they calling themselves now? The Irresistible
Forces.
Forces? Okay. It's just Irresistible Forces.
Yeah. Yeah. They
I think they had a new theme.
Maybe they do. I mean, I'm down. I'm always down with
Because
that.
I swear because I thought I heard Lil Jon in there.
Wow. Okay. All right. Okay. Listen, I'm not mad at that. I love when you build a new stable or a faction or a team and you fully invest, right? Like I'm not a huge fan of Everson and Skeena forming a tag team and calling themselves Skeena and Everson and coming up with the mashup of their musics. Like that to me is the worst. Like if you're going to be a team, come up with a team name, get some new entrances, get some new music, get some matching ring gear, like go all the way. Charlotte and Alexa struck in the middle ground for me of things I like and things I don't, right? Like they had a name, but it wasn't really an official tag team name, and they never really came out in matching attire, but they were definitely, together, yet they walked out to separate theme musics that then kind of just ended with Alexa's when they walked to the ring. To me, that is the hallmark of makeshift tag teams. And I mean, I'm just like, man, if you're gonna do it, just do it. Just really go for it. Let's see what we got on Smack. Before we jump over to Raw.
Trying to remember.
Damian Priest and R-Truth.
Yeah, we had a big long tag team match where as far as story goes, yes. The only development we got is Priest and Truth now seemingly a tag team and are our number one contenders.
Yeah, and they are challenging, who are the tag champs?
MFTs.
Those they never get defended. I always forget who the tag team champs are because you very rarely see them compete. But that honestly, that means Damian Priest and R-Truth are going to win those titles. They'll do more with them.
Too. I think so too.
They'll do more with them for sure.
Of course we had Danhausen try.
Yes, that was the Miz, right?
Yes, he was trying to get some mentorship from the Miz, and the Miz ended up cursed, I believe.
I think he said he was gonna curse him. He reminded him of what happened to Dom last week.
Yeah. Well, he needs to get Danhausen that TV show.
Yeah. Listen, Miz better pull some strings because he certainly cursed. Who did he curse on Monday? Danhausen cursed somebody on Monday. Oh, he cursed. El Grande.
Oh yeah, who then disappeared.
He was
so cursed he disappeared.
Yeah, something happened to him, and then El Grande Mexicano took his place.
Yes, I forgot about that.
Because that was for a title, wasn't it? That was for the IC title, wasn't it?
I believe an IC title shot.
Yes, it was.
Right?
It was against Penta.
It was against Penta.
It was against Penta.
Penta defended it.
Yeah. So he lost an IC title match because he got cursed.
Yeah. Amigohausen. He did get cursed.
So hopping over
so hard he disappeared.
So hopping over to Raw. So we start the show with.
Yeah, let's talk about this opening because that was my other thing.
So we start the show with, gosh, I always forget their names. The freaking general managers.
Adam Pearce.
Adam Pearce, thank you. So Adam Pearce comes out there. He wants to address the quote-unquote elephant in the room, which is Seth Rollins, and that Seth is not cleared, but he needs to talk to him. So Seth, please come out here. And then you get
who comes out?
Man. You get a masked man that comes out. And then you get another one. and then you get another one. And then you get a whole ring full of masked men. And then they do the Cupid shuffle. They
Oh,
turn it all
yes.
around, and Seth is in the center of the ring.
Okay. I will kind of give it a pass because I understand at least the logic on doing the spin around shuffle shell game
Yeah,
to confuse Theory and Logan Paul.
right.
But what was that silliness when Adam Pearce wanted to talk to
That
him?
makes no sense.
Like, oh gosh, I saw that and I'm like, oh boy.
That makes no sense. And I
And I
genuinely,
I hope we don't see that again. I think that's something maybe they thought and then it played out. But like that was just, and you know me, I'm all for silliness and goofiness, but that was silly and goofy and not the right way for me.
yeah, I think WWE should take a break from the balaclava mask man. Like, I think we've been doing it for just a little too long. The ski masked man needs to kind of go away for a while. Like,
That was, yeah, and I
we
think I
we
think
have
that may have
troped
killed it.
this into the ground. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not forget that we used to get this at almost every PLE when Roman was champ. And and it's like you get these masked people come out, and it's another member of the family. And then R-Truth had his run with the mask when he came back. And then now with Seth, we're doing this again. And then Seth is like, "Oh, so how many times have we done this in the last 4 years? Hold my beer." And then he goes and gets all the math. And listen, some of those guys were not even the same build as Seth. Like, though, there was one guy in there that was way bigger than Seth. There was one guy in there who was a beanpole. You wouldn't have convinced anybody that was you. But you got bodies, you got them in zip up hoodies, you got them in ski mask. And it was a scene. I agree with you
Well,
1
even
million percent.
even Adam Pearce kind of no sold it and killed it. Because right after they did it, he's like, Seth, we've been friends a long time. I don't need all that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, why do that?
Uh,
Why do that? It was
it was
unnecessary.
a it was a lot. It
It was
was a lot.
unnecessary. It was a little extra. And like you said, and I
And
1000% agree. If this was done, if Adam Pearce called Seth out, right? And then let's say Seth came out from the crowd dressed the way he was, right? In the all black. And he's talking to Adam Pearce. And Adam Pearce says to him what he says, which is, "Hey, you're not cleared, right? We may need to fall back and relax because the division gets their hands on you. They may put you on the shelf permanently." The second Logan and Theory come out, all of those masked men should run out from the crowd.
yes,
You know what I'm saying? They should run out from the crowd, and then they do the shell game, right? And what made it really cool is they did the shell game, and then they all dispersed as soon as they did the shell game, and Seth was gone with them.
yes,
And
yes.
that would
That
have
would have
been
made sense.
some dope shit. That would have been cool, but it didn't need to be done for Adam. That was kind of,
Yeah, like why?
yeah,
It was like his anime villain entrance
yes, yes,
where
yes.
he just forms out of the smoke or whatever. It was just too
And
much
that's the
for
thing,
me.
right? It was only that one instant that made it weird. Like, if he didn't do that, it would have
Yeah.
worked. All that would have worked. But the Adam Pierce part just kind of made it goofy. And
hmm
and it didn't need to be goofy like that. So let's see. EO defeats. Oh, so then they have this gauntlet match for
Which
the
I
number one
also
contender for the
have
IC,
it.
right?
Yeah, which I also have issues with existing.
Okay, talk about it, Skinny. You got a lot of issues this episode.
What? I know, and I rarely don't, but like, what was the? This is a case of, for me, just every we just had, and I know some people like are gonna disagree with this take, but this is how I am as a fan. Like, this was just a lot of wrestling to have wrestling on the wrestling show. Because if
Okay.
the end goal is just to get Bailey to a match with AJ Lee that she presumably loses, why did Io and Raquel and Asuka have to go in there and I mean maybe not Asuka because of the level she's presented on, but like why are Io and Raquel, and I get there were excuses, but why are they even in this match to lose? If the point of this is just to get to Bailey having this match with AJ Lee. Instead of all this, couldn't Bailey just have showed up when AJ Lee was asking for challengers? This seemed like the point had nothing to do with furthering a story. It was just because we had 30, 40 minutes of the show to fill.
So let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Were there, I don't remember, were there any shenanigans in this match that caused certain people to lose?
Yes. Yes. When it was Io and Raquel, Liv and Stephanie came out.
Okay.
And that leaded to Raquel getting distracted. Io eliminates Raquel. Then Raquel's pissed off and beats up Io. And Ivy Nile comes out and just pins Io after she'd, gotten destroyed.
Okay.
So again,
you've essentially protected them a bit.
Yes, but if the whole point is just to get to this match with Bailey, like, I don't know if all this needed to happen. But I get that's like a small complaint. Like, I am complaining that there was wrestling on the wrestling show.
This is true.
But I get that, but that was my issue with it. Was like, we just did all this for seemingly something we could have gotten to. This meeting could have been an email. And the email could have been Bailey just shows up last week when AJ Lee's asking for challengers.
Yeah, I guess you could have done that, but at the same time,
the match was good. It was a good showcase for people.
Well, I mean, look, within the confines of the stories, who would have been in line for an Intercontinental Championship match? You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's out. Like, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, AJ doesn't technically have the latitude to be like, whoever wants to come out. Like, there has to be somebody in line to do it. And further,
Carmelo Hayes gets to do that.
Open challenge. Duh.
Why can't AJ Lee have one of those?
There's not an open challenge, and they don't have one for the Intercontinental. It's not called the Intercontinental Championship Open Challenge. Okay. It's the U.S. Championship Open Challenge, right? So, IC title, they have to do something else. And so they have to do a tourney. They have to do an elimination, a gauntlet match in order to determine who that winner is. And honestly, I didn't mind it because it was a nice showcase of wrestlers who otherwise would not have gotten time to wrestle on the show. And you needed to get to AJ Lee versus whoever with no story, because AJ Lee is just not around to really build these stories with. And honestly, I'm saying this as an AJ Lee fan. We said this last week. Her promo game is not the strongest right now.
For me, it's my least favorite type of story, at least so far, is that I won a match, so I get another match, and we haven't said one word to each other.
Which is literally it's literally what professional wrestling number one contenders matches are, which is I win the match.
If you take things out, yes. If you take out, but this has none of the window dressing with it.
I agree. And honestly, Skeener, sometimes for me, it's a palate cleanser. Like, sometimes for me, it's a palate cleanser. I don't mind it sometimes. Like, I don't want it to be 90s CMLL where nothing had storylines. They were all just matches for matches, right? And rivalries were like best of sevens. And it's like, no, I don't want that. But at the very same time, sometimes for me, it is okay to watch King of the Ring. It's okay to have a gauntlet match to determine a number one contender. Like, I don't always need a story. And honestly, it gives me the false hope that WWE could maybe pull the trigger on somebody that I didn't expect. Because when it comes to a storyline, there's some people who are going to be written off entirely because WWE's not going to invest in them. Like Ivy Nile, she's been making great strides. She's been doing a lot better. I think she looked great in this match. And I think that some of the things that she
did, but like, for me, it's like my issue with Ivy Nile wasn't I don't think she could wrestle good.
Right.
It's I don't think we have the other part, which is what this skips completely.
Right, but I think it opens the door to build those things. Because if you don't have that door open, she's not going to ever build those things because they're not going to put her on segments, you know what I'm saying, to really do much of anything. At least in this situation, obviously she didn't win, right? But this could absolutely lead to Ivy Nile versus Io because she took her out that way. And then Ivy jumped somebody before the match, before a portion of that gauntlet started too, didn't she? I think she ran around the ring and hit somebody on the outside.
Well, it may have been Liv or Raquel because they were the ones that were out there.
Yeah, maybe something.
Because Ivy Nile came in and pinned Io Sky after she had been beat up.
Okay, so she pinned Io Sky, and then the next person I think that was coming in was after. Hold on, I'm looking at it right here. So
Would have probably been Asuka.
okay, yeah, she ran around the ring and hit somebody because I see her there. Yes, it might have been Asuka. It might have been somebody like that. I think she ran around the side of the ring and hit them on
I
the
don't
outside of the
remember
ring.
whether Asuka or Bayley was last, but
Bayley was last.
okay, then yeah, because it was Io and Lyra to start out with, then it was Io and Raquel, then
Right.
Io and Ivy Nile, right into Ivy Nile and Asuka.
Yeah, right. And I think these things could
Or
be
no,
utilized.
it was Bayley. It was Bayley because I remember Ivy Nile and Bayley going at it,
Okay, and
and then
then
Asuka was last.
Bailey beats Ivy
Asuka,
Nile, and then Asuka comes out and Bailey beats Asuka. That makes
yes,
sense.
that's what it was.
That makes sense because what you could do is if Bailey beats AJ Lee, right? If Bailey beats
Which
AJ Lee, which is possible,
uh,
it's possible because
it's
I don't know if
possible
AJ Lee is staying
because they
around.
will have a match.
I don't know
So
if
you don't think they're getting back to Bailey versus or Becky versus AJ now?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where Becky is.
But see, that's the only that's the thing that gets me is that I think they just did all this just to have Bailey lose a match. Which, if they don't, I guess I forgive this a little bit. But for me right now, seemingly the plan is still to get back to Becky and AJ for that title at WrestleMania. This
According
was
to
all
what?
just according to us talking
No,
about it for
right.
30 minutes last week.
But that's what we talked about. But what is the show building?
I'm being consistent with our storytelling.
Hey, listen, I hear our storytelling. I haven't forgotten that part, right? But my thoughts on what our storytelling
So
is
yeah.
gets
So right now,
updated
yes,
every week
we
based on what the
have
show puts out.
a match. I think is it next week for Bailey and AJ Lee? She's got a
Okay.
match at some point
So
between now and WrestleMania for the Women's Intercontinental Championship.
okay, so in that respect, Bailey is likely not to win.
Yeah, because Becky's gonna come in and ruin it.
Well, if she ruins it,
You're right. We have lasting issues with Becky and Bailey, especially given how WrestleMania played out last year.
I think you get a triple threat for
I
the
would love
IC.
that.
I think that protects AJ a bit,
I
right?
would love that, and I'm talking myself into that as we speak.
You know what I'm saying? I think it protects AJ a bit. It allows for Bailey and Becky to do a bit more of the heavy lifting. You've got some history there.
Yes, in light of what I just brought up to myself, I think
Yeah,
that
yeah.
does make sense.
It does. And listen, you can't have a card with every match being one-on-ones for championships. Like you got to mix it up a little bit. And we've got the one-on-one with Roman and Punk, right? We're probably going to get a one-on-one with Randy and Cody, right? I could see them doing the IC being a triple threat, and who comes out on top of that, I have no idea. But we got you can do that as a triple threat. Yeah, listen, I like that idea. I genuinely like that idea that we do the triple threat that way. It gives Bailey something to do, and it protects AJ in a sense as
Yes.
well too. And Becky's still here. We just haven't heard from her, which is why I hadn't even been considering it because we haven't really heard from Becky since she dropped the title to AJ.
Yeah, but there's no way Becky is not factored
Oh,
into
I agree.
WrestleMania. So
I
yeah.
agree. Absolutely. Absolutely. Scrolling down here. So Penta defeats El Grande Mexicano for the IC title. Yep, that was the title match. So why
Penta gives us I obviously as a non-Spanish speaker did not understand half of Penta's promo.
Yeah.
But I loved it. I think his intensity and emotion the same way Asuka can at times just supersedes the language. And
Agreed.
you don't necessarily have to know the words to get the message.
Agreed. Like straight up. And
Like I don't know what he said, but I would be shocked if the gist of the message wasn't like, "Hey, I worked my butt off to win this title. I won this title for you guys. I'm going to defend it every week. I'm going to be a fighting champion. I'm proud to be this champion and let's go kick some ass and I have zero fear."
yeah, I think a lot of that promo, a lot more of that promo was about his struggle to get here. Like I watched a documentary about the history of Pentagon Jr.
Mm-hmm.
and a significant portion of that was about Penta and just his upbringing and him raising his brother and you know Ray Phoenix looking at Penta like a brother and a dad and the things that he had to do to help make sure that they survived and then how wrestling saved them and yeah and he lives that life too like he don't take his mask off places. Many people don't know who he is under the mask. And yeah, he lives that. And so when I see that energy coming from him now, I think about that and I'm like, yeah, dude, this dude fought his ass off to get where he is. And he just, yeah, he exudes it every time he gets his hands on the microphone. The dude's freaking magnetic. And I love his freaking tax commercial, his TurboTax commercial.
Yes. Yes, that's a great commercial. Him
That is
and
a
Stephanie and LA Knight. That's
yes,
awesome.
that's an excellent commercial. God, I love it.
Mhm.
I love that commercial. Glad I did my taxes already. If you haven't done your taxes,
I
y'all are
yeah,
tripping.
I did mine yesterday, so
If y'all have not done your taxes, PSA, folks, sponsor not sponsored, do your taxes. Like, don't mess around. Be MC Hammer. Okay, so let's see. Oh, yes. So
Dom and
Dominic
Finn.
Mysterio calls out Finn Balor. He calls him out. Finn comes to the ring. Dominic lays the blame for losing the Intercontinental Championship to Penta at Finn's feet. Finn lays out that he did this because Dom really needs to stand on his own and that he's always going to be his family, but he's wondering sometimes based on how Dom moves if Ray wasn't right, that Dom is an entitled prick. Dom proceeds to push.
I thought he so is that what he called him? Did you get to see it on your VPN? Because I
Yeah,
got it
well, I
bleeped
mean, it
out.
was on. This was Raw, so yeah, I was watching on
Yeah,
Netflix.
but was it bleeped
Yeah, it was
for
bleeped.
you? Okay. So
Yeah,
you thought prick. I thought he called him a spoiled bitch.
I don't.
And you're going with spoiled prick.
The only reason I'm going with prick is because the end of it sounded like,
Okay.
and that's why I went with that, right? And look, Jade says she's that bitch every week.
I guess you're right. You're
You,
probably right.
you know what I'm saying?
But then why would they really bleep out prick?
I don't
That's
know
pretty
if they would.
crazy.
I don't know. Oh, or maybe he called him a
But
fuck.
we do know on Raw they say B, so it's a little different.
Well maybe they did, but it's all on
'Cause you-
Netflix. But it's all
but
on
we know Joe
Netflix.
but
M-
I don't know.
Maybe he called him an entitled fuck.
If anyone knows what Finn called Dom, please let us know.
Yeah, please, dude. I'm wondering if he called him an entitled fuck.
I have no idea.
I mean, it has to sound at the end,
Nope.
and they
You're
would have blanked it.
I know I'm looking at a recap here that says spoiled little prick. So they did bleep out prick.
Okay, that's weird. But so yeah, so he called him a spoiled little entitled prick, and Dom pushes him. I'm not JD, but Finn turns his back. He goes to take off his coat, hits him with a Pele kick, and then Finn Balor proceeds to get stomped out by
Yes.
Dom, by JD, by Raquel, by Liv.
Yeah, Raquel and Liv were putting the hands on
I
him,
mean, they were all just putting the boots to Finn.
which is setting up.
Dom versus
You know
Finn
what? Yeah, but
is
Finn needs some backup, doesn't he?
no.
Finn needs some backup.
He's not gonna
And
bring
you know
in the Good
and
Brothers.
you know who needs
You know why he's not.
employed?
You know why he's not gonna bring in the Good Brothers.
The machine gun and Festus himself.
You know why they're not gonna
I'm
do that?
telling you.
Because Finn's whole thing with Dom was you got to learn to do it on your own. So if he goes into this situation, it's like, oh, I'm calling in backup to help.
Yeah, he doesn't need help to beat Dom, but he doesn't need to be outnumbered.
No, they're just gonna put him in a cage.
Bullet Club.
They're gonna put him in a cage because we don't have a cage match at Mania, and that will be the gimmick match for Mania is a steel cage match where the Judgment Day can't get into the match, and then you're still gonna have JD and Liv and Raquel try to get into the cage. It's gonna be a whole fiasco, and Finn's gonna end up beating Dom. There ain't gonna be no title on the line because it's not AAA, and and Dom still got to fight Vikingo, defending the AAA Mega Campeon. So it's just gonna be for bragging rights
Hmm.
and to blow this feud off. But I loved this.
I did too.
I loved this. Like, you knew it was coming. It was in the air, right? It was gonna happen to the degree that it happened. I thought that JD was gonna turn on Finn. What I did not expect was for Raquel and Liv to put boots and fists to Finn too.
Yeah, that was the cool moment for me too.
Yes, I didn't expect that, but at the same time, and listen, guys, I'm gonna keep touching on this because it's really wonderful. If you watch AAA, you see more stuff like this because they have a lot of mixed gender matches, and you don't necessarily see the men putting their hands on the women and the women putting their hands on the men, but you get way more of these confrontations that happen where like people just be peopling with each other, and it don't matter if you're a girl or a boy. It don't matter. And so there was once when Judgment Day came down to AAA to tag in a match with Dom against, I can't remember who it was, but it was a mixed tag match, actually. It was Finn Balor and Roxanne Perez versus Lola Vice and Mr. Iguana. And there were certain instances where it looked like Lola was about to pop Finn in the mouth, at least once. And it's fun stuff to watch. So to see the women put their hands on Finn like that, I hope we get more like intergender interaction. Are we ever going to get like a Penta versus Chelsea 2 from Lucha Underground? Probably not, but still. Oh, by the way, so I went to go try and watch Lucha Underground, right? Because I didn't watch it during its original run.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it easy to watch anywhere? I thought that was
Well,
the big issue.
actually, Skeeter, it is. So I looked to try and find it online, couldn't find full episodes anywhere, right? So then I
Hmm.
went to Google and I asked, what is Google's AI called? Gemini. I asked Gemini, where can I find Lucha Underground full episodes to watch them, right? And it pointed me to freaking Amazon Video, Prime Video.
Oh yeah, they do
Dude, it is freaking $14.99
for
per
all the seasons.
episode.
Oh jeez. Okay.
Per episode. I said, you have got to be smoking crack. You are
Yeah.
crazy.
I don't know about that.
That's 5 seasons.
It's good stuff, but it ain't
Not
$15.
$14.99 a pop. You're
Yeah,
crazy.
that is crazy.
That's nuts. But you can't find it anywhere else. So if you want to
Right.
watch it,
Okay.
you
Yeah.
got to
Okay.
watch it
So I
there.
was right. Yeah.
That's
If you
insane.
want to watch it legally, you have to watch it there.
Dude, I looked every way illegally. And I could not find full episodes for all the seasons. I think I found maybe the majority of season 4 episodes on YouTube. But they only had the matches. They didn't have like the segments in between,
Oh, which is yeah,
which is the whole
which is a
point.
lot of it. Yeah.
Which is the whole point. But hey, listen, when we start a Patreon, which eventually we will, if you want us to watch Lucha Underground,
If you want to fund us watching Lucha Underground.
Skeeter said the quiet part out loud, but that's pretty much what it is. If you want to, if we start a Patreon, you can pay the Patreon tier and get us to watch Lucha Underground. Because honestly, I would love to watch it, and I've never watched it. I think I saw maybe one episode.
Really? So I think I watched the first 3 seasons and not the
Yeah,
last 2.
I showed up
So
late to that party.
I never saw the last season finale. I saw was the tease that that Rey Mysterio would be there the next season. So
Okay.
I never got to see any Rey in there.
Yeah, no, I caught on to Lucha Underground super late. And when I went to go watch Lucha Underground, I was so behind on things that like and at the time I didn't think to go to like the El Rey network and look at the backlog of episodes. So I didn't know where to find them. And I'm not somebody who likes starting series and stuff like that in the middle.
Same.
And this is so story driven that I was like, okay, I guess I just missed this. I'll just watch it when it comes out on replay, right? But then it went
Yeah.
away and then
Sure
it was
you
just
thought.
gone. And so I never got to watch it. So if you guys want to do that, look, hit us up on the socials and let us know. I plan on starting a Patreon at some point,
Yeah.
but
We'll
it was
do it.
not in
I'll
the
definitely
plans right
watch it
now.
again.
But yeah, if you guys want us to watch it and we put something up like that, if you guys would support something like that, Skeeter and I will watch Lucha Underground.
Yeah, we could do a watch along or something.
Yeah, we could do something like that. That'd be kind of fun. Speaking of fun, guys, I know it's a little interjection in the midst of our Raw, but the Lariat Lounge is also going to be soon adding some content to our YouTube page. Something Skeena and I have been talking about. I set up a Twitch account for the Lariat Lounge about a month ago. I just wanted to set it up to kind of make sure I had the name and I didn't have to fight for it later on. Well, Skeena, my good friend Andrew, recently purchased WWE 2K26. And he purchased the Big Boy Big Dollar edition and got it 7 days early. So the rest of us have to wait till Friday. But I went and bought a PlayStation 5. Okay. This is dedication, folks. Okay. This is dedication.
Finally joining us.
Dude, I had one and I sold it. I sold it like many months ago. I sold it because I just wasn't playing it. And so I didn't feel the need to keep it.
That's crazy. Because mine come in a as Jim Cornette would say, in a burning building situation, it may be PS5 first, wife second.
Yikes. Hope she didn't listen to the podcast.
Hey, brother, she's got legs. The PS5 doesn't.
But if she trips and falls, and you got to take one.
You know,
the fact you're thinking about this, I'm gonna move on and save you. I'm gonna save you from yourself.
So we'll see, how far is she from the door?
See,
how
I'm
close
gonna
is the fire?
I'm gonna save you from yourself.
Although I will say, now that there's cloud saves, it's a little different. So I could get a new PS5 and all my data would be there. So
listen, Mrs. Skeens,
she's very safe now.
Mrs. Skeens, I don't support this behavior. I just want you to know that Everson Godfrey, the masked man here, does not support that behavior. I will never support that behavior.
Well,
but
hey,
what I will support
here in 5 weeks, you can tell her yourself.
Oh, I can, and I will tell her in a awkwardly looking like closed door scene from like wrestling shows where it's like it's behind closed doors, but the doors cracked just like this, and you see people talking like.
And I'll be outside the room looking in the door like this.
Yes, and then you have to turn to the camera and be
like,
yeah.
There you go.
But yeah, so I bought a PS5. They're not cheap because since Sony announced that they are working on the PS6 and they're going to double down on the PS5, the prices for all these things went up again.
Did it?
And yeah, because they were trending down, right? They were trending down because we're getting around that time when console companies will start announcing the plans for their next one, right? And we just got Project Helix, which is the code name for the next Xbox. And the Steam machine is coming out sometime this year.
Allegedly,
so, yeah. Hopefully, depending on what the hardware costs end up being. But we got these announcements, so everybody was anticipating that the PlayStation was going to be announcing that as well. So then when Sony came out and they stated that, no, we're just going to double down on the 5 for now, right? The prices for used consoles just shot up a couple percentage points.
And I didn't realize that.
Yep. And so they went back to where they were maybe like 6 months ago. And so I went and bought one. I'm not going to tell you how much I paid for it, but I did. And I did it so that Skeena and I can play WWE 2K26, and we're going to stream it. I'm going to figure out how to do it, and we're going to stream it on Twitch, and we're going to stream it on YouTube. So whenever we get those logistics set up, we will blast it out on the socials, and you'll be able to tune in, and you'll be able to watch us play. I don't know what features are on it, but I would love for us to do some type of like season stuff or some tournament stuff as a tag team maybe. And
yeah, I'll see what we can do. I would love to see if we can
win like a championship together. I think that would be fun. But tune in because that'll be coming.
I was just ready to bury whoever you wanted with Cody and just stand tall.
Listen, to be perfectly clear, dude, I'm pretty damn good at these games. Like, I'm pretty good at these games. So I don't know about getting buried. Yeah, you might beat me, but getting buried, I don't know about that. But we shall see. We'll see in a week because I'll pick mine up on Friday. I already got it pre-ordered.
Can't be the golden goose without the gold.
No, this is true. Put him in the egg. Just put him in the egg. You know what I'm saying? We didn't get gobbledygooker, but we got Cody. So Obafemi beats Rusev. I heard some people talking online that they felt like this was burying Rusev.
He was on TV. He can't get like.
What are we talking about, man?
Yeah.
Like, my God, I wish we could retire that word. Like, that word should have never gotten into the mouths of regular people because nowadays, everybody who you like who loses a match is getting
Mhm.
buried. Look,
Yes.
Obafemi is the future. They are building the brand, they're building him up to be a cornerstone of future WWE programming, right? Some people are going to get fed to him. Now, Rusev has held his own the most, right?
Yeah. Out of anyone.
Out of anyone, Rusev has held his own the most against Obafemi. But you got to think that the end result for Obafemi in WrestleMania season is him going heads up with Brock, and that he's probably going to beat Brock. So if you think that he's going to beat Brock, why on earth would you think that Rusev was going to beat him? Like, make that make sense to me. If you took out Oba and you replaced him with Brock in this match, I don't think anybody will look at this match and thought Rusev is getting buried because he got in as little offense as he did. Because it would be expected. But for some reason, I don't know, there's some Rusev stands out there who felt like he got did dirty. And to that, I say nothing. Because I think you're wrong. And it is what it is. They're building him up. You got to feed the beast. And hopefully at WrestleMania, they actually feed him the beast. And Oba becomes...
Very nice segue.
Very nice segue. And so now we get to the conclusion of Raw.
Yes.
Which I thoroughly thought that this was a excellent follow-up to last week.
Yep.
And I think that where I thought last week fell a little short, which ironically, not ironically, because I thought it was a pretty balanced take. There are some other people who felt the way that I felt, that it seemed personal for no reason. Like the injection of burying you next to your dead dad. Like it seemed like a I don't know, like a low blow for low blow insult's sake. And they seem to address that here. And Punk seemed to allude to it a bit, that like I may have crossed a line. And Jimmy and Jay were definitely brimming since the beginning of the episode about confronting Punk about that. We got back to pacing Jay Uso.
Yeah, finally.
This is very much bloodline Jay. That's really what I got from this is Jay pacing behind Jimmy when Sami Zayn is in the ring. That's really what it gave me. And I liked it. I like seeing Jay in that edgy space. It works for him, right? And we know that Jay and Punk are friends, and Jimmy has respect for Punk. And they have history, apparently, as Punk alluded to in his promo, that he goes back quite a ways with Alpha and helping him to get his start in the business and supporting him when he needed it. And who was it that Punk said that he babysat?
I don't remember.
But
I
he
don't remember
babysat-
the exact specifics.
He babysat one of them. And
Yeah.
Punk said that he has never had a problem with anyone in this family, that everyone has always treated him with respect, and he's done the same, except for this one entitled SOB
Yeah.
that doesn't ever seem to respect him or show him any kind of respect at all. And then Punk apologized. He apologized for... What did he apologize for? Help me out.
He was sorry that Roman had pulled the wool over everyone's eyes
That's
and made everyone think all these things.
Yeah. He also pointed out some interesting things. Punk pointed out that you're demanding an apology from me for insulting the deceased who cannot speak for themselves. That was a great line that Jimmy put forth when he said that you claim to be the voice of the voiceless, but now you're insulting people who have no voice. And Punk kind of pushes back a little bit with, when Roman was running down Dusty, nobody demanded an apology from him. Why is it that everyone is here demanding apologies from me? But if Roman was really this bothered by this, he would have showed up here and said it to my face instead of sending his young boys. Which, I mean, Jimmy and Jay are not young, but...
but it's the callback to the line of Roman saying Punk treated him like a young boy.
Yes. Right. And he's alluding to the fact that Roman is treating them the same way that Roman claimed that Punk was treating him.
And that Punk is sorry that Roman didn't apologize to them for treating them like trash.
Right, right. And I love the fact that Jay is losing his mind. Jimmy stops him and then he punches Punk. I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. You know who I think was the winner, who was the biggest winner in this whole scene? Jimmy Uso. I think what he showed there was a layer to him that I want them to lean more into. Let Jay be the sparking wire and let Jimmy be the one who is calm and collected, but he's also going to be the very first one to fire a shot when things go down. He did the exact same thing with Sammy, right? He was all handshakes and everything with Sammy, and he wanted Sammy in and stuff like that. But when Sammy hit Roman, who was the first person to put Sammy down? Jimmy. And I like that. You can build on that Jimmy he's the quiet one of the two, right? But the quiet one is probably the one you need to keep your eyes on the most because he's probably the one that's going to shank you first. And I like that for him. He could use some character development, and I think that this is the right way to do it. What I'm wondering now is based on how many dates we've got left before Mania that Roman is supposed to appear. How is he going to approach this?
This was our last Raw without Roman Reigns or Brock Lesnar. I think Brock makes every Raw here on out, and Roman makes all but one of them. So
Yeah.
shows are going to be big appointment viewing from here on out. It's interesting to see how Roman responds. I think the biggest question is, and the fun story aspect of this is, did CM Punk unintentionally reunite the bloodline and spell his doom?
I hope not.
Or at least give them common ground and a common enemy. Because I think that's what they're playing up, is that Punk got a little out over his handlebars and did his CM Punk stuff and did his mic drop moment, and did it do the worst thing possible he could have done, which is give Roman back all the backup he said he lost.
Yeah, I think that depends on, I think that your perspective on that, I think would really be determined by who you believe the winner of this bout is going to be. Like if you have an inkling for who you think the winner is, I think that would probably sway how you feel about that. I don't know who the winner.
I really have no idea. Yeah.
And so in that, I have no idea if it swayed at all because it could easily be that. And it could also easily be one of those things where here is Jay and Jimmy doing what family does, right? Which is stand up for family. But stop CM Punk when he starts telling lies, right?
Right, which is what makes this so good, is that, like, for the most part, everyone has a point and is telling their truth.
Yeah, yeah. And like, maybe he crossed the line storyline wise, because that's what we're talking about, guys. Like, storyline wise, maybe Punk crossed the line, but he was willing to, at the very least, address the fact that he may have crossed the line. He acknowledged that he may have crossed the line.
He acknowledged.
Not Roman. He acknowledged that he may have crossed the line. He acknowledged that. But he's not lying when he says that there's a double standard with which to who requires apologies, who doesn't require apologies, how Roman is claiming that people are treating him versus how he treats other people, and that Punk is good with everyone in the family except Roman. So I'm sorry, says CM Punk, I'm sorry that Roman continually uses and abuses you all. I'm sorry that he continually uses you all like his young boys to do his dirty work when he doesn't want to show up. And he lets you be the one who shows up for the family, and he shows up for himself. I don't know. If I had to guess, I think, and here's the thing, right? You can't, in my mind anyway, you can't predict what Jimmy and Jay may do without potentially predicting how the match concludes, right? Like if your idea happens, right, that it may inadvertently force Jimmy and Jay and Roman back together, right? I don't see how you do that and Punk retains the championship. If you look at it from the perspective of you put this brainworm in Jimmy and Jay's head and they stood up for the family, but then they start to question for real, Why hasn't Roman ever apologized for the way he treated us? Why did Roman never show up during my world title run if you're Jay? You know what I'm saying? Why is it that when I was at my low point, if you want to harken back to that storyline that they dropped with Roman and the Usos, why is it that when I was at my
Which
low
we
point,
may, now that Roman's here, and to your point last week, it seems like we may get back to that a little bit.
maybe we'll see. Like it could
Yeah.
be Jay could address it like, hey, when I was at my low point, right? You seem to be trying to throw up division between me and my brother. You know what I mean? It's like, what's that all about?
Yeah, and I think the point, or at least I don't even care to make a prediction on which way it goes,
Yeah.
but just the fact that this seed is planted is the whole point.
Yeah.
Is that this has to he may have Punk has either inadvertently driven them back together or driven them to question Roman.
Yeah.
Just the fact that the Usos are going to seemingly be involved in this is huge and makes it so much better. And I loved every bit of that closing segment on Monday.
I agree. I think it worked out well. I'm anxious to see where it goes because all of this right now is just really great storytelling and laying the groundwork for building up the next couple of chapters going into WrestleMania. And they're doing a good job with it. They're doing a really good job with laying out who the players are, right? What the narrative is, and that the stakes are bigger than just the championship. You know what I mean? The championship is just on the line because Punk is holding it. But there's a whole lot more that's at play here than just, I want to beat you and be world champ. So next week, we should get some more, we should get a better perspective on what's happening because hopefully Roman will be here. There's, I guess, one date that he's not going to make prior between now and Mania.
He's there next week.
Okay.
It's the first week in April. He's not there, so
Okay.
he's there for the next 3 weeks.
Okay. I mean, look, we'll see what they do. We'll see what they do. I'm looking forward to it.
It's getting good. It's getting good. It's going to get better.
Listen, it's starting to feel like the pathways are starting to show themselves. Where they're actually going to go, we don't fully know yet, but we've got some trajectories because at least we know what direction the world championship is going in. We know what direction, to a certain extent, the WWE championship is going. We know what direction, well, we don't know what direction the Intercontinental Champion is going right now. We don't know that one. Penta has just defeated another person, so we'll see what happens with that leading into Mania. The U.S. title, that's pretty much null and void. I mean, who even has it right now?
Carmelo Hayes.
Oh, that's right. Dude, this is why the Open Challenge sucks. Because
they ran through everyone in the company.
This is why the Open Challenge sucks. Because it
I
just
agree.
doesn't really build on stories. And I think stories are what people remember. You know what I'm saying? And it's like when you don't have a storyline that's built, as good of a job as he is doing as the U.S. champ, it becomes forgettable because your opponents each and every week, it's just a random crapshoot. It's just a random crapshoot of people that come out, and it doesn't matter for anything. So, and I'm sorry, Carmelo, I ain't mean to be disrespectful because I think you're doing
it's not
great.
him. It's the situation
It's
he's
just
in.
a situation.
The U.S. title vortex.
It's sad, but true. And then for the women, we've obviously got Rhea and Jade for the WWE. For the Women's World Championship, we've got Stephanie Vaquer and Liv, which we need a little more story build for that. We got a little segment from Stephanie, which I don't know to what extent Stephanie Vaquer is still landing with people. Like, I don't think she's flopping out at all, but I think she's
but we got to do something. Yeah. I mean, Liv is definitely the more popular with the crowd.
She really is.
Question.
She really is. And I definitely feel like Stephanie has staying power, but we're going to have to figure out, I think, sooner rather than later, what the next gear is for her. And, where that is, I'm not entirely sure. But, the likelihood that she could potentially drop that title to Liv at Mania is getting more and more like something that could be a reality.
Oh, I think it was high to begin with.
I do too. And I think it's just becoming a bit more prevalent, that idea.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? That she could for sure drop that title to Liv. And then the women's intercontinental champion, AJ Lee, is likely going to beat Bayley. But then we had this really great idea that I hope WWE is going for, which is a triple threat with Bayley, Becky, and AJ. That would be really awesome. I don't know. Do you throw Lyra in the mix? I wouldn't.
No.
I mean, because if you put the title on Bayley, if she wins, Lyra is her first feud, and you can go there with that. But yeah, you can do a triple threat with that. The women's United States champion is Julia again. I think she
I
won
don't
it
even
back.
know.
And I don't
Yeah,
think
I
she's
think
lost
so.
it.
Yeah,
Again, bro,
I
that
think
US
so.
title is just irrelevant. Like it's so
Yep.
irrelevant. But I think that's the card. And then you got the tag team champions, which
Mhm.
is probably going to end up being Damian Priest and R-Truth because they don't care
Mhm.
about the tag titles either. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this week in wrestling. Skeener, your thoughts? Anything that you want to convey to the listeners and the viewers from this week in wrestling from last Friday to this Monday?
I just think it's time to buckle up because even if you're upset about how one of these things got here, at the top of this WrestleMania card, you've got Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton and CM Punk and Roman Reigns, and that's four of the best, and they're gonna go at it here for the next 5 weeks. And I think we're gonna get some really, really good stuff. So just get ready and enjoy the ride.
I 1000% agree. For me, folks, my takeaway this week would be do yourself a solid favor. WWE's YouTube channel. Go to the live tab. Check out AAA. It is genuinely a breath of fresh air. It is WWE for sure. You can tell WWE's got its handprint all over it. I literally saw a backstage segment with I believe it was Jackie Redmond, and she was interviewing someone. And then I saw whoever their backstage correspondent is on AAA. And the video layout is exactly the same. It's exactly the same. So if WWE is the type of product that you enjoy, rest assured, WWE has taken over the reins of AAA. For good or worse, I don't know because I don't know AAA before it. And admittedly, I'm a WWE person, but it is so freaking enjoyable. The characters are genuinely endearing. The wrestling is top freaking notch. And it's just a palate cleanser from WWE. And if you're like me, right around this time, you start to get that WrestleMania bug and that spirit of pro wrestling kind of comes over you. People start consuming more things. And if you wanted to consume something that's running parallel to WWE right now, I would definitely check out AAA on WWE's YouTube channel. And I believe AAA has their own YouTube channel that probably has some longer form aspects of the episode. I think WWE stuff is going to give you a lot of the highlights. It's going to be about 54 minutes for the episode, but I think the episodes themselves are probably around an hour 30. And so you'll get the full version on AAA's page and you'll get the truncated version on WWE's page. Watch either one. It is incredible. Do yourself a favor. El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. That guy's good. He's good. And Dom's a freaking star over there.
Wouldn't that make him Dr. Wagner the third?
Technically,
If he
yes.
if he's the son of Dr. Wagner Jr., couldn't he be just Dr. Wagner the third?
Yeah,
I
and
don't know. I don't
surprisingly,
know, man.
you don't see that. The naming conventions are pretty standardized, right? You've got the originator, Dr. Wagner, and then you've got Dr. Wagner Jr., right? And Jr. is a title that is given to the person
Yeah.
who the mask is handed down to, right? And then
And is this the actual son of Dr. Wagner Jr.?
so I don't
Okay.
know because
That's fair.
I feel like Dr. Wagner, I could be getting this wrong, but I feel like Dr. Wagner Jr. is not the actual son of Dr. Wagner.
Okay, which I get. He's just Dr. Wagner Jr. because the mask got handed down. But if this is El Hijo, is this the actual
Oh,
son
yes.
of
So,
Dr.
yes,
Wagner
yes,
Jr.?
yes, he is.
Okay.
He
Now it
is.
makes sense. Now it makes sense to me why he's
Yes,
not Dr. Wagner the third.
yes. And honestly, I don't think I've seen lineages where The grandfather, the father, and the son are all the same character, but I haven't seen a third.
So Dom could technically be El Hijo de Rey Mysterio Jr. because the original Rey Mysterio was Rey's uncle. He's
Right.
Rey Mysterio Jr. because that gets passed down to him. So Dom is El Hijo de Rey Mysterio Jr.
Yes, if he,
Okay.
if he really wanted to follow in the, the
Yeah.
legacy of his deadbeat dad. And and honestly, I love that dynamic because Ray would probably say in character, Ray would say, "No, I don't want Dom carrying my name."
Yeah.
He's terrible. But do yourself a favor, check it out if you haven't. It's freaking awesome. Do not go searching for Lucha Underground. Those prices are ridiculous. Well, this wraps up another episode, guys. I'm glad you guys are showing up. Skeener, please let everyone know where they can catch the Lariat Lounge in all of its forms.
The Lariat Lounge is coming at you live in video in color. You can watch us once a week, every week, at least on this show. We got other content coming soon. You'll find us at the Lariat Lounge on YouTube. Just search the Lariat Lounge on YouTube and you'll find us. You'll find our old episodes. You'll find our live streams and any other content we throw up. If you prefer listening to the podcast just audio, that's cool too. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on all your favorite platforms wherever you get your shows. We're over on Instagram at the Lariat Lounge Podcast. That's where you can keep up with us, interact with polls, send us DMs. I'm always checking those, so feel free to communicate with us there. You can go get your merch. The wonderful t-shirts, 4 are up there, 2 are coming soon at prowrestlingtees.com/the Lariat Lounge. You'll find a link on Instagram as well. Please, if you feel inclined, go get your merch. It supports us, helps us out. Everson worked hard on a couple of great designs with more coming soon. And last but not least, as always, if you want to send us an email at thelariatlounge@gmail.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, we really, really do appreciate you. We do all of this for you guys. Skeener and I love to talk about this stuff, and we just want to share our conversations with you. It means a lot that you guys tune in and watch us and listen to us each and every week. You guys are the reason that the Lariat Lounge is ranked 127 for pro wrestling podcasts in the United States. So big, big, big thanks to everyone who tunes in and checks us out each and every week. We will continue to show up for you guys, and you continue to show up for us. That is our promise to you, and we will stick by it, I guarantee it. From your host, Everson Godfrey, co-host Andrew Skeens, this has been another edition.
Hey,
yes.
You know what we got next week?
What do we have next? You really cut into my exit to say that. Anyway, from your host, Everson Godfrey, co-host Andrew Skeens, and the Brock Lesnar theme song that nobody asked for, this has been another edition of the Lariat Lounge. Please watch yourself on the way out.